But we knocked off another white whale, and it's coming Monday, and we've had to sit on it all week.
I honestly don't know how this is going to go. This could go either really well or really poorly.
Are we putting the short teaser in?
Yeah, just have it be as it goes to black, and then you hear his voice. I've warned you before about taking unfair shots at Coach, and you don't learn. We're going to finally get this settled. Real text message. How crazy is that?
Well, how did they get your number?
I don't know. On today's Pardon My Take, we have a huge interview. It is Coach Rick Pitino, St. John's coach, in studio. He came and joined us. It was awesome. We talked about everything. We also copped to some of the jokes we've made, but we talked about everything.
We talked about a stalker that might or might not exist.
Yeah, that might or might not exist, but it was an awesome interview. I mean, he's had an incredible career, a lot of twists and turns, so we got into it all. It was awesome to have him sitting on that couch. Never thought we'd see that day. We're going to talk some college basketball, March Madness. We're about to get to conference championship week. NFL free agency has started, even though it officially started?
It's the legal tampering window? I believe that starts today, Monday at like noon.
So we got some contracts to talk about. Maybe a little UFC, who's back of the week. After the Rick Pitino interview, we're going to do some housekeeping stuff. We got some streams coming up this week we want everyone to know about. Some interviews that we taped on Saturday we want everyone to know about. And we'll also do Hank's Dynasty talk, which Hank was very much in.
Number 8. We
got to talk about that because you were you slow played it on Friday's show. You were in that shit. I was in it, which was crazy. So yeah, great show. Getting you ready for Conference Championship Week. We're brought to you by our friends at DraftKings. The thrill and excitement of March Mania is here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps, is giving new customers a shot to turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets with any college basketball bet. That's right, to celebrate college basketball's most frenzied time of year, DraftKings is giving new customers a shot to rack up some bonus bets. I think tomorrow night we have the Horizon semifinal. I kind of like Cleveland State plus 5.5. There you go. We also have, all the big conferences are playing. We're going to have Wisconsin's playing on Thursday. Villanova's playing on Wednesday. Seton Hall for Pug. When are they playing? They're playing Thursday. So we got it all in the DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TAKE. New customers can bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code TAKE. The crown is yours with the DraftKings Sportsbook, so go use that code TAKE and get into it with one of my favorite months of the year. It is March, baby. Go download that DraftKings Sportsbook and use code TAKE today. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Pardon My Take, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Go download it right now. Use code TAKE, and you can bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets, only at the DraftKings Sportsbook with code TAKE. Today is Monday, March 11th, and I have an announcement.
Proceed.
A very big announcement. I think Duke is going to be just fine because, God damn it, those guys are so hateable, and they're right back to where they were.
Jon Scheyer put on a hell of a performance after the game. Going shaking people's hands in the student section.
Apologizing.
I'm sorry that we lost to UNC, and this is probably your senior night too. You should have done better. As the other half of the Cameron Crazies throwing water and ice onto the floor.
Jay Billis.
Probably throwing ice down to Kyle Filipowski to help him ice his calf, which was very inconsiderately run into by a UNC player earlier in the game.
These guys are perfect. I'm so happy that they're exactly where they should be because I was nervous. I was like, Coach K, he's done. Jon Scheyer, nice guy. Don't really hate him. But just that scene, choking on senior night against UNC, those stupid fucking Cameron Crazies that pretend that they're like the coolest, best fan base in the world, throwing shit at college players. I was I honestly think they should just not play with any fans anymore because Jay Billis, I hope he backs us up. Either put those people in jail or don't let them in the stadium because that was disgusting. They're all throwing shit. Jon Scheyer's apologizing, which is like such a Coach K thing to do, being like, I'm so sorry we let you down on senior night. And that fucking loser Kyle Filipowski tripping people. Hank, this should make you happy because you should get your Duke fandom back up because you are such a piece of shit.
The pep rally was tough too.
Oh, I missed the pep rally.
Jared McCain was like singing. It was like a Texas A&M level pep rally.
They're the worst.
What do you think about the tripping, Cal Filipowski? He said it was unintentional, and I think I have to believe him.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing a game full speed, things get slowed down.
Also, he's coming off a severe leg injury.
Yeah.
And so who knows, that maybe some nerve damage.
I said right away, it was clearly something that happened where it's like he can't control his legs anymore. I mean, we're lucky that he's walking.
They should have arrested the UNC player for doing that. Yeah. Kyle could have gotten so much worse hurt.
Oh, man, the UNC guys were just giving him shit, and then all these fucking losers.
See, after the game where the UNC players were like taunting the Cameron Crazies, and then all the security staff from Duke came out onto the court, and they were trying to like push the UNC players off the court. They should not have security. The security guards should be arrested.
I'm not a narc, but someone had pointed out that one of the people that put their hands on a UNC player was actually like the assistant athletic director or like associate athletic director of facilities or some bullshit title that he probably knows someone and he's probably married to a Krzyzewski or something. He was touching UNC players. We got a problem in America, and it's the Duke Cameron Crazies throwing stuff and athletic directors touching players. I don't know if we can play conference championship week.
Well, the thing is,
we should get Jay Billis back on to answer for this.
You know what? Nuance is lost amongst this generation, Big Cat. So people probably won't even begin to understand what I'm saying. But if you're an employee of a school and you're putting your hands on people from another school, you should be put in jail. And the game is better without people that do that sort of thing. So you can say all you want, oh, the athletic directors do a great job, they contribute to the atmosphere of college basketball. But the reality is they're not part of the game.
Yeah.
The players are part of the game.
So answer for yourself, you fucking loser.
College basketball is better when Duke is the villains. So I'm happy that
I actually agree.
Yeah. So I'm happy for the tournament. I'm excited. Shut everyone up.
Yeah, it was just a great scene. And just UNC winning the ACC outright on Duke's court. Just beautiful. Could have scripted it better.
I'm beginning to think that they coach that sort of thing at Duke.
Yeah.
There's been
choking in these big games.
Well, that and the legs.
Yeah.
Duke has a leg problem.
Yeah. Grayson Allen just right to Cal Filipowski. Filipowski's perfect. He's just molded into just the fact that he wasn't actually injured, and we spent 2 weeks talking about storming courts, and then he's tripping people. God damn, they just have such a great knack of just making these guys just so hateable.
It was also funny the way that the Cameron Crazies were dressed up because I do think they believe it's their senior night too.
Oh yeah,
so they go hard. They go hard for that, and they showed up in like wrestling costumes, and then they were so sad at
dorks.
The end of the game.
They're fucking dorks.
It reminded me of John Cena admonishing us while wearing the Peacemaker costume.
Yeah,
you had just a bunch of crying, sad Duke fans wearing giant like rubber golden gloves. It was perfect.
And it's crazy that's happening in this year. Kyle Filipowski just being so hated because this is the year where white ballers are back. I saw the meme yesterday, from like a wine aisle at the liquor store that says exciting whites.
Yeah, exciting.
It was just underneath it said Dalton Connect, Cormac Ryan and Reed Shepherd. Exciting whites. That's what college basketball has this year.
Yeah. Dalton Connect is so good. Dropped 40.
He lost.
He lost, but he was so good.
I think actually Cal is getting ready to we have it wrong with the hot seat. His team's playing so well and Kentucky's so exciting. He might get can you get a job for the afterlife too? Because he has a job for life.
Yeah, that's his contract, right?
Right.
Whenever he decides to off himself, whenever he dies, that's when they move off.
But I think maybe
just get a Ouija board and they can just ask Cal drop a play.
What about AI? Terry Jones made himself down in Texas to live forever. We just get an AI Cal because Kentucky is one of probably the most exciting team, I'll say. Exciting, not the best team. They're the most exciting team because they don't really play a lot of defense, but they can every single guy can score.
Jim Cloud-Apari, upload him. Just upload him to the internet. Yeah. I think Kentucky can definitely outscore any team in NCAA basketball,
which is important.
That's important because typically you can't win games and lose them at the same time. You want to outscore your opponent, but yeah, Connect is fucking awesome, so fun to watch. But I'm beginning to think that I might be right about him. He might be able to get shoved around, especially on defense. He doesn't play a lot of defense.
Yeah, they lost.
Yeah, and they don't really ask him to play defense either. They just say, go stand out there and try to get in the way of somebody that's driving at the basket, if you can, if it's not too much work.
But it was a fun day of college basketball. We also had Dan Hurley. I love this like storyline now that Dan Hurley, I think it's just the crowds just want Dan Hurley to fight him. Or they want to fight Dan Hurley, and Dan Hurley just does not. He doesn't turn down any challenge. There was a clip of him just being like, yeah, come on down here and you'll get hurt, to a Providence fan.
Yeah, he did that again? 'Cause
yeah.
He did that last week, too.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's a theme. Because I think the fans are like, we want to fight Dan Hurley, and most coaches will just keep walking, or if you're Jon Scheyer, you'll stop and apologize for something. But Dan Hurley just stands on the court after games. He's like, you want a piece? Come on down here. And I believe him every single time.
Do you think it would make Jon Scheyer more hateable if he did a press conference and he took responsibility for the fans throwing stuff on the court? If he was like, that's me. You know what? That's my problem.
Probably did.
And I need to personally work on that.
He probably did. Let me look.
Sometimes if you take too much accountability for things, it makes you actually not accountable for anything at all.
Yeah, he did have there's a part of you that feels like you let them down talking about the Duke fan base. It was senior night. We probably got caught up in some of that stuff. So yeah, he was. Oh wait. Oh yeah, here we go. I just wanted to connect with the students. They're amazing. I still needed to digest the film and take a step back. I just thought they came out and hit us first. Oh, so yeah, he was talking about just, apologizing to them, shaking hands. Yeah, he probably will apologize for all of them. Jay Billis should.
That's true.
Definitely. I want to just throw a note out there. So right now we're at the point where we're obviously looking at the bubble. Some teams are fighting for their lives. Max, I know you are. You're fighting tooth and nail. I really want USC to make it into the tournament. I've circled. They're so much fun to watch. They beat Arizona late on Saturday night.
Clobbered them.
They are fucking good now that they're fully healthy, and like they're these weird teams. Indiana's another team where it's like Indiana, they're not good record-wise. They probably won't get in, but they're playing great basketball, and that's like maybe we need to do like a secondary tournament. I guess that is the NIT, but just have the secondary tournament just be like teams that are really hot, teams no one wants to play tournament.
Well, the problem is that the better teams from big schools, if they're peaking at the right time, they don't make the NCAA tournament. They just turn down the NIT.
Yeah,
they think they're above that.
Yeah, but
Bronny tournament run would be funny.
But Bronny tournament run, yeah. You see that dunk he had in front of LeBron? Who would have thought LeBron James would be at that game?
Oh, LeBron James had a great moment too with Jeannie Buss. Did you see that clip?
No.
There were two women, one on either side of LeBron. I don't know who the second one was.
Yes.
And they both just started, Jeannie Buss was one of them, but they start grabbing him and like leaning on him. And then you can read LeBron's lips and what he says. And he stops them from hugging him. And he's like, first of all, let me just say Happy International Women's Day to both of you.
Love that.
And they just melt. It
worked, yeah.
Savannah's watching that, freaking out.
Yeah. Love that from him.
Some exciting whites.
Max, do you want to talk at all about the bubble? Because the bubble is it's hot right now. Indiana State losing was not good for the bubble. That was a great game. And this is the time of year where I was telling the guys beforehand, I just get caught up. Like today, and it's obviously gambling related, but I watched maybe an hour and a half of Boston University play Lehigh in a semifinal game. I think both teams are under 500, and it was fucking electric because it was like a 20-point comeback. And these games, just every game matters, and every game's fun. Colgate was another one. I watched way too much Patriot League today. Way too much Patriot.
Arch Madness has been getting wild.
Arch Madness is awesome, but yeah, like those random tournament games, you're just like, why am I watching Patriot League? But Max, bubble watch. Who do we need to lose?
New Mexico losing yesterday was big. We need Virginia to lose. We need JMU to win.
Yep.
Okay. They're up 6 right now with 2 minutes left in the semifinals.
The bubble sucks. This is my first time in my entire life I've been in the bubble.
It does suck.
Like Nova didn't make it last year, and they didn't make it in I think 2012. But other than that, it's like I've never been on the bubble. I've never experienced this. It's so stressful. Every game it feels like a tournament game. I really don't like the matchup. I mean, we'll beat DePaul. I mean, if we lose to DePaul.
No, you'll kill DePaul.
Yeah, we'll beat DePaul, and then Marquette. I really wish we were playing Creighton in the second round instead of Marquette. Marquette gives us trouble.
Yeah, but no Kolek. Yeah.
No, Kolek's coming back.
Did they say that? I thought they were waiting for the tournament.
If they wait for the tournament for him, that's huge. Yeah, but I think he's coming back.
Okay. I feel like that they should wait, but
Yeah, that would be great. I would
Yeah.
love for them to wait. They should. They should.
yeah, they should.
Who cares
You know what?
about? Yeah, who
Hold
cares
on.
about the Big
You
East
won
tournament?
the Big East tournament last
Yeah,
year.
who
Cole.
cares?
You were the player of the tournament.
Just be healthy. We need a run in. We need a run in March.
wait.
Don't worry
So
about it.
where's Joe Lenardi have you right now?
The last team in.
Oh,
the last one.
Yes.
So you just need you are in full on bubble math where you're like, we need no crazy teams
But
to win tournaments that like a USC would kind of fuck you.
Yes. Indiana would fuck me.
You
Right.
need no surprises.
Indiana
whatsoever.
also has.
There's always like 2 or 3.
Yeah, Max, you have to be like the Grinch of any team out there that's
Yeah.
thinking that they can make a run and get to the NCAA tournament. And like USC, for example, like any team that has an outside chance, a puncher's chance of winning the conference, you just have to be there to take a
Right.
big shit on them.
This is also we're last team in before Indiana State lost today. So I've seen that I've also seen that Indiana State Nova will be like kind of a toss up, but
Okay, so you're just bubble watch, baby.
yeah, bubble. This sucks.
Yeah.
I never do this.
Do you feel like you're too good for the bubble?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
the-
17 and 13. You lost to
yes.
Penn and Drexel.
I know that's the worst part of it. If we just
I
didn't-
pointed that out to
If
Max
we didn't
the
just
other
go
day.
winless in the Big Five, this wouldn't even be a question.
You're not even. You're the worst team in your city,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and that includes a team that might be shaving points.
Yeah.
But
That's a wild story.
yeah, that is
Yeah.
why they won today. That was the
Yeah.
most obvious. Like we got to
Yeah, we
win
gotta
one.
win,
We got to
yeah.
win one to get us off.
So I was looking at the 4 games that they had for Temple that they had circled as like irregular betting patterns, and 2 of the they only hit on a 50% rate.
Yeah, it was,
So whatever the inside information was, that should actually just go to show you that for us, whenever we think we have an edge at something,
No.
even when you have a real edge, you only win 50% of the time.
dude. That was like. I mean, it's basically if someone tweets that they're throwing games and everyone bets it, the line goes. I think when UAB was like -1.5 to 7. It was kind of like UFC on Saturday night, which we'll talk about. But there was like one tweet that was like Sean O'Malley's dealing with a rib injury, and then I got that tweeted and DM'd me like 7 times. Like, dude, we all saw the tweet. This is not inside information. You guys are all talking about it. He probably doesn't even have a rib injury. But, yeah, as soon as it hits our eyes, we're the suckers. If information hits our eyes, everyone either knows or it's not real.
Yeah, we're the late adopters.
We're the last people to know.
Akron. Shout out Akron.
Yeah, shout out Akron.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Akron.
wild.
Yeah. By the way, so Wisconsin lost to Purdue today. Zach Edey's senior day. He's finally done.
Mm-hmm.
The bad news is Purdue's just got another one. They have another one. They have a 7-2. His name's Will Berg.
I thought you were talking about his like 10-year-old brother.
No, they
That-
got
that
another
they
one.
brought out there to dunk on a Fisher Price hoop.
7-2 Will Berg from Stockholm, Sweden.
Okay.
They just build them in a factory. That's just what they do.
But I like that. I like that there's that you have that continuity at certain colleges where
Yeah.
you're like at Purdue, they're always going to have a tall, lanky dude, and at Pittsburgh, they're going to have a guy with a giant ass, and at Duke, they're going to have a guy that tries to trip everyone.
Yeah, and a coach that apologizes.
Yes, I like having these like long-term themes that I can associate with schools.
Yes, but yeah, it was a great finale to the college basketball regular season. We're now into conference championship week. I cannot wait.
4 tickets punched.
4 tickets punched.
Morehead State,
Drake.
Longwood, Drake, and Stetson for the first time in school history.
Yeah, love that. Love that. So we're starting to see the bracket. Bracketology's going. Also, in the women's college basketball, we had one of the coolest brawls and ejections in the SEC championship where I think like how many women got
I
ejected?
want to say 6.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah,
but it was
great.
the big girl on South Carolina.
Cardoso.
That is she's really really
She's
good.
the one who hit the buzzer beater in the
Yeah.
last game.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was one of the worst defensive things I've ever seen. Tennessee was just like, we're just not going to guard that person who has the ball. But Cardoso, who's very good, that might be the start of the championship DVD. I know they're undefeated and they're the best team, but her having everyone's back like that and
Yeah.
just being like, here comes the train, get off the tracks.
A couple funny things about that. One, when she ran her over, that was awesome.
Awesome.
2, the referee just being like, I don't get paid enough to deal with this. I'm
Yeah.
not going to interfere with this fight. And then 3, the one girl's brother jumping over the scorer's table to come down onto the court to get himself in the fight, and then seeing how big they were and being like, no thanks, never
Yeah.
mind, and then immediately gets arrested for it. I was hoping, is it fucked up, but if you gave me truth serum, I want to see like a Malice at the Palace in the WNBA.
It would be cool.
I want to see And it would be funnier. You're going to get some. It would be a banner moment in the history of the internet, no matter how it shook out. But can you imagine if like Cardoso went into the stands and beat the fuck out of a dude?
It would be awesome.
That would be so fun.
It would be so sick. Yeah, it was. There was a moment where I think they had gotten it wrong on the broadcast, but it was going to be just an electric first round of the tournament where they were explaining it, and they're like, everyone who's ejected is now not eligible to play in the first round. It turns out it was just everyone who's ejected for fighting.
Yeah.
But for a moment there, it was like South Carolina's going to play their first round game with 6 players. And they would have won anyway.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, this is going to be incredible to watch. But yeah, that was cool.
South Carolina's undefeated. The Lady Cox doing some big things.
Yeah, and Caitlin Clark breaks Steph Curry's record.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and she also remade Kobe's pictures for the Big Ten tournament championship. That was a little much.
So I think
It's tough celebrating a Big Ten championship.
I
Kobe
think
pictures.
I think the way it worked was like there was a lady, I think she was a reporter in the locker room that asked her, "Hey,
I understand.
will you do this?"
Oh, I understand how it
But
happened.
if you're Caitlin Clark, you gotta be smart and say no.
When I
maybe
win the
when I win the
NCAA,
NCAA championship, then I'll have the jacket ready to go. Because first of all, you can't remake that picture without that jacket,
Right.
Or at least a similar jacket. The jacket makes the picture.
yeah, that was a little much. But I like it still because Caitlin Clark gets people angry.
Yeah.
No matter what she does, she gets people angry. She's great. She's great for the sport, and she's great for sports discourse. Okay.
I also think Kim Mulkey, the coach at LSU, is great for discourse.
She's great.
Because no matter what she says afterwards, you're gonna be like, I can't believe she said that.
Yeah, no, and she just uses, what was her quote? Wait, how do you spell? Is it
Key?
Key?
She also gets dressed up like Cruella de Vil on acid,
Wow.
which is always fun to watch.
Yeah, she had a great quote after. What was it? She was actually mad at her team for for the big ones not going after her.
I agree.
Yeah, which you don't hear that often.
You got big boy. That was some little boy ass play.
Yeah, Kim Mulkey said it. Yeah, so whatever. Yeah, she's something else too. Yeah. Okay.
Can you imagine being a waiter at a restaurant and Kim Mulkey comes to your table? I would just quit.
Yeah, it would just be like, what holiday's going on right now?
I would just be like, fuck this. I don't get paid enough.
Yeah, are you in a bachelorette party? What's going on right
Yeah.
now? Why are you dressed like this?
No, she lives life like she's celebrating her own divorce party.
Yeah, constantly.
Yes, all the time.
Constantly. Okay, before we talk, let's talk some NFL. Let's talk some free agency. Before we do that, the Chevy Silverado is commanding an unstoppable grit, legendary capability, and dependability too. We've all spent seat time as they call it in the biz, behind the wheel of a Silverado. We're not just truck guys, we're Chevy truck guys. You know about the ZR2 family of trucks, lifted and ready for anything right from the factory. Now Silverado is taking it all to the next level with even more Silverado truck tech like available Super Cruise. Only Super Cruise lets you drive hands-free and tow hands-free on more than 400,000 miles of compatible roads. With over 138 million miles of hands-free driving by customers, Super Cruise will help you get to your adventure energized, and it'll help you drive you home. Go to Chevy.com where you can check out Silverado, build your own Silverado online, and learn important details about Super Cruise. Okay. Mac Jones traded to the Jaguars. Coming home. That was the saddest part of that Schefter tweet.
He's a Duval guy.
He's like, he played high school football in Jacksonville.
Yeah, he's a Duval guy.
Going back to Jacksonville.
Is Trevor Lawrence gonna be looking over his shoulder?
That'll be a narrative.
Hey, how long were you in love with Mac Jones for?
Probably like 5 games. I was never fully convinced.
Can I guess what game it did it for you?
The snow game?
No. I thought it was the Chargers game. Remember that?
Yeah, like there was a game first couple weeks.
In the COVID, was it not? No, it wasn't the COVID
2 years
year.
ago.
Yeah, where it was like, I think he had like a 99-yard drive, and you guys were like, he's the next Tom Brady.
Well, we went to the playoffs, and it was like, all right, new quarterback.
Pro Bowl.
Playoff, Pro Bowl, Belichick. He'll figure it out.
You remember that Monday night game where Belichick was like, you're not going to pass the ball at all?
Yeah, that was great.
That was a great game, yeah.
So, are you ready to say he's not the guy?
Yeah.
I think you had already said it. We now have, though, the 2021 draft in record time might be the worst quarterback draft of all time because Trevor Lawrence so the guy Mac Jones was drafted 15th, Trevor Lawrence first. Mac Jones is already his backup, and like I don't know if Mac Jones how many more games is he going to play in the NFL?
That's got to be tough for the ego too, because they're the same age. They grew up
Right.
highly recruited, going to quarterback camps. It was always, they were always in the conversation together.
Right.
He got drafted starting quarterback, and now he has to back up.
Trevor Lawrence.
That's going to be very weird.
Someone that he's
situation.
known his entire life.
Instantly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
in his hometown.
Yeah. So, Trevor Lawrence drafted first. Zach Wilson, who's the best of the class, but he also just took a step back.
God, I'm gonna miss the Jets Patriots games where it's Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, just going back and forth playing tummy sticks.
Yeah.
Seeing who can throw the saddest interception.
Just
God,
sucking.
Those were such great games.
Trevor Lawrence number 1, Zach Wilson 2, Trey Lance 3. He's in witness protection. The second best quarterback in this draft class is Justin Fields, who's drafted 11th, who like his trade value seems to be plummeting by the second, where it's like now the Bears might keep him, and then Mac Jones 15. So there's five quarterbacks drafted in the first 15 picks in that 2021 draft, and 4 out of 5 of them, just 3 years or in the 4th year, will be on different teams.
You know what we should do? Let's redraft that draft class. Number 1,
Trevor Lawrence.
I'm going to take Justin Fields.
I'd probably Trevor Lawrence.
Number 2, I'll go Trevor. Number 3, Trey Lance. You never know. I think
could be good.
I think Trey Lance has been out of a job for long enough where you forget how bad he looked when he did play.
Yeah.
So now it's like, think about the upside.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, my number 1, I'm going to change it. I'm going to go Jamar Chase.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Jamar Chase number 1, Penei Sewell number 2. that would be better. Micah Parsons also was drafted 12th. So there were 4 of those terrible quarterbacks taken before Micah Parsons.
Say something nice about Mac Jones. I'd rather have Mac Jones than Zach Wilson.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Zach Wilson in the right system.
I don't know.
As a backup?
I don't know. I think Mac Jones might have the worst
Worst vibes?
vibes. Yeah.
No, worse than Zach Wilson's vibes?
Zach Wilson, remember, like
The Chiefs game.
he wasn't supposed to play last year, and he came in and he tried his hardest.
Yeah.
Mac Jones, like all reports are that he's just been a pouty little bitch.
Well, the problem with Mac Jones also, Zach Wilson has a lot of bad tape that will follow him around, but I don't think he has a single moment that's as bad as getting stiff-armed against the Raiders.
And the hurt ankle when he came out the field. And if you actually had to say, like, who would you rather have, I think you'd have to take Zach Wilson just from arm strength. Like, you'd be like, throw everything else
Mobility.
out. Yeah, like, don't even talk about, the guys, whatever. Just, like, they both stink, but one guy has a really strong arm, the other guy doesn't.
But what about this? Mac Jones gives off better backup quarterback vibes than
I don't
Zach
think
Wilson.
so.
'Cause I think Zach Wilson, the
No.
arm strength
Dude,
is too much.
He was a backup
They
quarterback
wanted to-
this year, and he did a bad job at it. He, didn't he talk to the Jets and was like, this is a shit show?
He was like leaking information.
That's the backup quarterback. We have tape of him as a backup quarterback being like not a good backup quarterback because he was just pouting and leaking stuff. Zach Wilson was a backup quarterback, and he shouldn't have even been playing, and he's like, I'm going to fucking try my hardest.
I don't know.
I don't think it's even close.
But when I say I would take Mac Jones for the vibes, I'm saying that more along the lines of like he's not as talented as Zach Wilson, so he feels like a better backup quarterback to me.
I think Mac
In the
Jones.
chase
I think Mac Jones would he would actively like he sees like something loose in a chair that Trevor Lawrence is about to sit in. He's like, I'm gonna let him just sit there so he can break his leg,
Or Trevor
and I can get in.
Trevor leaves something behind. Doesn't tell him that he left his wallet in the room.
Like he sees Trevor's wife. He's like, oh yeah, you should have been with us last night. We were out till like 3 a.m. partying it up. What?
I don't know. It's an interesting.
Doesn't that feel like that's kind of what the vibe?
Well,
I think
okay,
he's
so
anti-backup quarterback.
yeah.
so they got
I think he needs to just go back to Tuscaloosa and just make a shitload of money being like, remember when I was awesome? Because he was awesome in
Yeah,
college.
he was very good.
You can't take that away from him.
They got a 6th-round pick for him. Do you think that Zach Wilson's he's going to fetch a 6th-rounder?
No, they'll probably have to add a pick. The Jets will have to
Probably give one back.
Yeah, they'll probably have to add a pick. But that's also because Zach Wilson has he had to play the whole string out this year, and it was like really, oh yeah, he really, really isn't good.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather have Zach Wilson around as long as your mom's not there.
Yeah, I was going to say, like,
as long as your mom's not there.
What Trevor Lawrence's mom look like?
No, you mean Mac Jones? Oh, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is she the type of lady that you would want Mac Jones around or not? Or Zach
I'm gonna
Wilson?
guess no.
Yeah. Wait, you're saying Zach Wilson?
Zach Wilson.
Yeah. I don't think. Yeah, Zach Wilson. I think I could be sold on Zach Wilson
Same.
as a backup, as just a project. Zach Wilson. Here's the other thing. Zach Wilson definitely has the could win you a crazy game if he comes in and because he's done it. He did it week 1. Mac Jones doesn't have that. Like if we're watching week 15 and Trevor Lawrence goes down with a concussion in the first quarter, you're like, they're fucked. Wherever Zach Wilson ends up, if that happens, you're like, maybe.
I think Mac Jones.
He's a gunslinger.
Mac Jones could come in and preserve a lead, provided you were up by 20 points.
You hand the ball off.
Hand the ball off.
Yeah, he'll be good at kneeling.
Zach Wilson, once every 4 or 5 games, is going to be able to throw for 270
Exactly.
yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You want, and I do think that from everything that's been said about Zach Wilson, he's not the worst. He's learned. He was a bad teammate, but he's learned from his mistakes. And you remember he had that whole thing where he was still kind of blaming everyone. He's kind of learned from that. It felt like everyone started feeling bad for him, and he had the whole story arc. Okay,
You think Mac is going to benefit from a change of scenery though?
No.
'Cause we can talk about the Patriots Dynasty documentary later, but they really make Belichick seem like an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, and I will say the only thing you could say in pro Mac Jones is the Patriots did not set him up for success. That's a fact. There's parts of this that he was not put in the best position. But still, I don't think it's like Mac Jones is about to be a multi-time Pro Bowler and they fucked it up and someone else. Wouldn't you say Justin Fields has a better chance of having a really good second part of his career?
Absolutely. Mac Jones, I think he would benefit greatly if he just took on the Chase Daniel mold, where he just kind of
I don't think he's got that person.
where if he was just in a room and didn't say anything for the next 10 years and still got paid.
Hank, you're not nervous at all that Mac Jones, you're going to be, you traded him in division. You're not oh man, this is going to suck 5 years from now. I have that, Mac Jones somehow is good.
Not in division.
I mean, sorry, in conference. Justin Fields,
No.
I do have that in the back of my head that there's a world where he could end up being pretty good.
No, I have zero fear.
Yeah. Okay, other news. Baker, $100 million contract, $50 million guaranteed. Awesome story.
Yep.
The guy was basically he won a playoff game for the Browns, who had not been in the playoffs in forever. Gets, that falls apart. Goes to the Panthers, gets cut from the Panthers. He did ask for his release. Goes to the Rams, basically it's over for Baker. Plays decent enough down the stretch for the Rams that he gets a 1-year, $4 million contract with the Bucs. Everyone has written him off, and now he's getting a 3-year, $100 million, $50 million guaranteed. I'm just happy for Baker.
I'm very happy for him. Yeah. I always thought he got a raw deal from the Browns, so it's good to see a guy that bets on himself, hits on it. It's cool. I think he's a good fit for that team. You probably aren't in a position where you'd be able to draft a good quarterback anyways. Why bring in a new quarterback if you already got a guy that won a playoff game? Now, it was against the Eagles, who were basically the worst team in the NFL at the time.
Yes.
But he still won a playoff game.
He
so
did.
I'm very happy for Baker.
Yeah, it felt like his career was teetering for a minute there, and now he gets this money, which is also good because it wasn't that story a few months ago that Baker basically got robbed of a lot of his money.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
By one of his closest advisors.
So
right?
I'm extra happy for Baker for this. We also had Jerry Jeudy to the Browns, which I bet you he's going to end up being good.
The Broncos are just getting rid of everybody.
Yeah.
Jerry Jeudy used to be good. I don't know what happened to him last year.
Well, Russell Wilson's not good.
Russell Wilson, but Cortland Sutton still looked pretty good at times last year. Jerry Jeudy did not.
Okay, breaking news. Breaking news. Adam Schefter reports 9-time Pro Bowl QB and former Super Bowl champ Russell Wilson plans to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Our league sources.
This is perfect for a guy that loves bathrooms and loves toilets.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh bathroom.
Big Cat, the Pittsburgh toilet,
Yep.
which is just a toilet in any room.
Yep.
It can be in a kitchen.
It's
a
usually in the
room.
basement.
It could be in a basement. I've seen some that are in the kitchen.
Yeah, the basement is usually where that's where the high class Pittsburgh's toilet is.
However many rooms he has, that's how many toilets he's going to have in this house.
Also huge for him. Black is a very slimming color.
Yeah.
So he might have just chosen that purely because of that simple fact, he would have looked very fat in a Giants uniform.
The chunkiness and those silver pants make his ass look big.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson just released a statement in video form. Do you want to listen to his video live?
I would love to.
The Russell Wilson announcement. It says, year 13, grateful, Steelers. Let's see what Russ has to say. Be careful, it's spicy.
Oh, mama. This was smart play.
Okay, it's just
But he played Renegade.
It's a bunch of terrible towels being waved around.
That's awesome.
That's it. Okay, good.
All right, good job, Russell Wilson.
I'd say Russell Wilson gets it.
This just went, literally, this is how stupid my brain is. It went from what the fuck are the Steelers doing to that was genius.
Yeah. Oh, if him and Mike Tomlin are not going to get along. I just want to I want to call that right now.
I think they'll get along for a little bit.
I don't know.
And then Mike Tomlin will be like, this guy's annoying.
Because Mike Tomlin and Sean Payton are like very similar in terms of like if he thought he was escaping having a hard ass head coach by leaving the Broncos.
But this is what we talked about because he doesn't have the guaranteed starting job, I would assume. Like he's gonna have to play for it.
Every job. That's Tomlin. Every job is for competition.
But that definitely, I mean, with Kenny and Mason Rudolph, like he's gonna have to play for his job, so it's not a guarantee that Russ is the starting quarterback. I love this for Pittsburgh. Get something to talk about here.
Yeah.
And I would love for Big Ben to get involved somehow, being like, I'll show you the ropes. Because that's just a buddy cop film that I need to see. Big Ben and Russell Wilson. Just, they don't have anything in common.
Oh, no, Big Ben is a born-again Christian.
Okay, so that.
He's a new man.
They have that.
He's going to show you. They're going to go to church together for sure.
Yeah.
They're going to worship together.
They probably won't go to the bar together.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Russell Wilson does love bathrooms, though.
Yeah, that's true. Russell Wilson, a Pittsburgh Steeler. What crazy breaking moves. Crazy breaking moves.
I think he'll look good in black and gold.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I do think that he probably that had to have at least 10% of his decision making was like, which color do I look best in? Black.
Yeah.
Like if I had to sign with an NFL team right now, I'd probably sign with the Steelers just so that I don't look fat. Like that's just as simple as it could get. Okay. And then Kevin Byard signed by the Bears. Max, is he washed or was the Eagles defense so bad that we can't judge it?
I don't know. You get cut from two teams in 1 year. I feel like that kind of tells you what a guy is.
I like
where
it.
The guy is.
I like it just because the Bears going into the draft like fill as many holes in free agency that you then can take whoever, because like they needed safety. They need another wide receiver. They need some offensive line help. They need some defensive line help. If you can get a few of those in free agency, then the draft you're not like overextending yourself because like we need to fill this hole. So you can actually take best player available.
Yeah, Byard was one of those guys that everyone thought would be a super big impact last year. Like he was still the best in the league. I don't think that's the case anymore.
Yeah, but whatever. Veteran, and like I said, you want to get to a spot where you can take best player available. I also want to just say something real quick. And this is not for any of those fucking sickos and perverts in Green Bay who are going viral on TikTok every time I say something like this. There's been a lot of freaking out this week because, like, it's basically sitting here for 2 months waiting for the draft. Everything's going to be said. Caleb Williams is going to be really good. He's going to be really fucking good in the NFL. He's going to be really good for the Bears. I feel that in my bones. I know that people will take this clip, and in 3 years they'll shove it back in my face, but I do not care. I'll say it right now. Everyone just chill out. Caleb Williams is getting drafted by the Bears, and he's going to be a franchise quarterback for the Bears.
You just want to get that out there.
I've been feeling it all weekend because everyone's freaking out, and I do think that I'll be the first to put my hand up. I think as a fan base, we've probably overrated Justin Fields a little bit. And you can see it by the fact that people aren't clamoring for a trade. I still think there's something there that he could be good, but there's a little hand-wringing being like, it's this fear of what if he ends up being this incredible. Don't worry, Caleb Williams is going to be awesome.
So I think some of the fear with Justin Fields is the uncertainty and also the way that his contract is set to kick in versus signing like an established veteran. Like, if you get Kirk Cousins and you're the Falcons, you're like, well, we want to take a swing at winning now. It's not as risky of a proposition,
right.
Even though you're going to pay him a fuckload of money.
Right.
It's not as risky as getting Justin in the door and saying, okay, we're going to take a chance on him and see how he pans out, and then we can make a decision about the long term. And then, given how many good quarterbacks apparently there are on this draft, I think a lot of teams are like, why are we going to pay him in 1 year when we can just draft a guy who we think is pretty good,
right,
and pay that guy no money for the next 4 years?
But just everyone relax. Caleb Williams is going to be awesome. I really, really do feel it. And Hank's giving me a little smirk, and that's fine because I know that this will be clipped. That's fine. I feel it. And I'll in 3 years, I'll feel it even more. He's going to be fucking sick. Everyone just chill out. This is the time when the draft specifically tries to fuck with people's heads, and they pick everyone apart so much that you spend there like, I wish the draft was tomorrow.
There's a lot of
get it done with.
There's a lot of smoke screens out there.
Yeah,
I want a lot of bad information to come out about Caleb Williams just to see if the Bears are dumb enough to pass on him.
No, they're not.
They're not dumb enough. No team would be dumb enough to pass on Caleb Williams.
And congrats, Hank, that you're going to get a new quarterback.
Yeah,
that was the Mac Jones trade was very. I mean, we all knew it, but it's now official. You're getting a new quarterback. You don't have to do any of the hand wringing. Not that you were, but you get a new quarterback.
Jane Daniels.
That's who you want?
Daniels. Okay.
That's going to be. Yeah, again, we talked about this on Friday, but one of us is going to make the wrong choice.
Not me. I already made the choice.
Not you.
That's great.
Speaking of Kirk Cousins, did you see his grill?
Yes.
He got a grill last week.
Yeah.
It's like all gold. He went to the dentist, and it was a temporary grill that they put in to go along with like the Kirk O'Chain image that he has. I have a theory about it.
Okay.
Much like Taylor Swift and attending that Jets game, so that when people Googled Taylor Swift Jets, her private jet stuff didn't show up. I think Kirk Cousins got that grill so that people, when they tried to look up the tasteless, bland meat that he used to cook on his grill.
On tin
like
foil.
The unseasoned chicken on tin foil on his grill.
It was steak.
Was it steak?
It was steak.
It looked like whatever the fuck that stingray is going to give birth to. It looked like some bland-ass seafood or something.
Yes.
But I think he did that so that people would see that grill instead of his food that he cooks.
Yeah.
Which is smart.
Very smart.
I think Kirk Cousins...
It's the Disney Frozen.
Say what you want about Kirk Cousins, but the man plays like 20-dimensional chess, whether it be with his contracts or his Google search results.
I also shout out Kirk Cousins because we made a big fucking deal about Aaron Rodgers' Achilles all year and how he's back and he beat science. I saw Kirk Cousins, I think it was one of his son's birthdays. He was at like a ropes course and he was 40 feet in the air, like doing a Walenda across a rope. I was like, that Achilles is good to go.
Yeah, he's set.
Like, and he's not making a big deal of it.
Yeah.
He's just good to go.
Yeah, that's just good, clean living.
Yeah.
That's what not mainlining ayahuasca will do for you.
So, shout out Kirk Cousins. Yeah, it looks like he might be the Falcons quarterback. We'll see. That's what it's either Falcons or Vikings.
Well, his wife is from Georgia.
Yeah.
So it's a done deal.
And it also, isn't it perfect it's Falcons or Vikings? They're kind of like long lost tragic heroes.
Yeah, the other side of the same. Like that's the Morton Anderson kick.
Yeah.
Was Falcons over Vikings.
Now maybe Kirk Cousins. Okay. Anything else before we get to who's back? UFC 299 was awesome. I don't know if anyone had it in their who's back. It was also just great to see Dustin Poirier beat the fuck out of a French guy. That was just cool.
Yeah, for me, I'm a casual. Openly admit it. I watch the big fights. That's about it. The sound that the knee made against, was it the nose or the mouth?
Cheeto's nose. Sean O'Malley said afterwards, he's like, I felt something break in his face.
The noise that it made. I listened to it like 20 times. It's disgusting, and I couldn't look away.
Sean O'Malley was insane how good he was against Cheeto Vera because I don't think I've seen that in a long time where you're watching a fight and Cheeto Vera, even in the first few rounds, he was flinching. He was like they could have stopped the fight and had Sean O'Malley give him 2 for flinching because Sean O'Malley was just coming from all different angles and so fast. But yeah, that sound, that was crazy.
It's all you should actually sample that sound and put it into a song as like the snare beat on a track. But so he is now going to move.
You mean you?
I should. I should do that. He's going
to not have the ability.
He's going to move up in weight.
He said he'll fight anywhere.
Which, I mean, he can't move down. He's the skinniest person on planet Earth. But I think he's going to move up 10 pounds for his next fight.
He was incredible, and it was a fun night. I wanted a few more knockouts, but the Dustin Poirier knockout where he felt like it was. I also just love a guy like that. He was he kept on trying to guillotine BSD, and after the first round, his corner was like, "Stop doing that! Every time you do that, he gets on top of you." And literally 10 seconds in the second round, he just went right
guillotine.
back at it. He's like, "Nah,
that was
I'm
against the French guy, right?
Yeah, he had to.
He's a student of history.
Yeah, he had to try. But yeah, it was a good UFC night. Very fun. Saw the boys. Saw Dave front row. the T-Man, President Trump coming around, shaking hand. I think he actually, like, I texted with Dave right after because I saw it on Dave's face. I think President Trump, like, pulled Dave's arm out of his socket.
Is it? He does.
And Dave texted me back. He's like, I was absolutely manhandled.
He does the aggressive handshake.
It was the pull-in, and I saw it, and then Dave sat down, and his face, it was just pure pain. I was like, I think he just got manhandled.
That was, I think, maybe my favorite Trump clip was it the Supreme Court justice that he was swearing in?
Yeah.
And he was shaking their hand and just like
He just alphas everyone with a handshake.
Everyone.
Yeah.
You have to be ready for that. If you're going to shake his hand, you have to. There
was one guy.
If I ever meet him, I'm gonna put one of those fake gag buzzers on my hand.
I think you got to
like,
pull first. Yeah, like if I ever shook his hand, I'd pull first and then hope, maybe double pull, because there was one head of state that he had like a real good back and forth where the guy was pulling back and giving him a real. But yeah, he just manhandles with his handshake, and it's just pure alpha.
Actually, I changed my mind. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go completely limp, and he's going to pull me, and I'm going to fall forward, and then I'm just going to wear a neck brace for the next 9 months.
Yeah.
And then Morgan and Morgan, we're having a call.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. But yeah, it was a good UFC night. Always fun. Big fight night is always the best. And I was battling with the time change and everything, just battling, I had to have 2 ice creams late night just to try to stay awake. But I did. As a man, I had 2 ice creams by myself on the couch.
I actually ate 2 things of ice cream this weekend too.
I was just like, there's only one way I'm staying up, ice cream.
I did 1 a night.
I left myself 1 for the main event. I was like, just got to stay up, because I wasn't thinking like I got to stay up for the main event. I was like, got to stay up for that second ice cream.
Also, Scotty Scheffler's back big time.
Yeah. He
won, and it wasn't close. Scotty learned how to putt.
Good for the PGA. They needed someone big to win one of these.
They did, but even he was a big name, obviously, because he's Scotty Scheffler. But what is he, 60-1 before the tournament?
Damn. No, I don't think so. There's no chance.
He's probably one of the favorites.
Plus 600.
Yeah,
6-1.
6-1.
Yeah,
No
pretty
way
big, pretty big
60
difference.
to 1.
Pretty
You'd
big
be
difference
60
there.
to 1 if he was playing lefty.
But he was a shitty putter until now. And now he got a new putter.
You got to figure it out.
And he's fucking dialed in.
Tailor-made.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do Who's Back of the Week. Brought to you by our friends at Coors Light. From day-to-day annoyances to the big stuff life throws your way, it's easy to get worked up. But there's a better way, a chiller way. Turn that canceled concert into a parking lot dance party. Too cold for an ocean swim. Play volleyball and light a bonfire instead. That's choosing chill. And when you choose chill, reach for a Coors Light. When the mountains turn blue, it's as cold as the Rockies. When you choose to rise above it all, choose chill, choose Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/take. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. CoorsLight.com/take. Hank, your Who's Back of the Week.
I had Scotty Scheffler, but also Oppenheimer. Award season. Oppenheimer swept at the Oscars.
Only movie I saw. Best movie I saw.
Christopher Nolan won his first Oscar, which is surprising, and so did Robert Downey Jr.
And no one got slapped.
No one got slapped.
And
That
John
sucks.
Cena kind of made a mockery of people who can't afford clothes.
It was a shame. I can't watch the Oscars anymore without a slap. Somebody needs to get slapped every year.
Yeah.
I don't care who. I don't care how. Just have the most 2 volatile celebrities that you can find, drag them in there. Hope that some fireworks happen, because it's such a letdown with no violence at these awards.
I know. You really need something crazy to happen. It's just, I need someone to talk shit about someone. Otherwise, what am I watching?
They should have brought Aaron Rodgers out there during Jimmy Kimmel's monologue.
That would have been great.
Give a live response to him, Aaron.
That would have been great. Yeah, like just have it be a debate.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome. Okay, what did you think that was the right winner for the Oscars? How many movies did you see?
Just Oppenheimer.
Okay, same with me.
You didn't see Barbie?
Did not see Barbie.
I did not either.
I saw Barbie. It was good.
Great.
Wait, give us your review of Barbie, Max.
Funny.
Oh, okay.
Funny how?
It was entertaining,
Empowering.
and funny.
You were empowered by it?
Oh yeah,
As a man?
for sure. I watched it by myself, honestly.
Oh, okay.
It was fun. It was fun.
It was fun.
It was a fun movie.
You watched it by yourself. It was fun. That's a good review. So you think Barbie got robbed?
Did it win anything? I don't know.
Who knows? Probably
Best
It
song.
probably won something.
Best song?
Billie Eilish
Best
won.
colors.
Best colors.
No, they didn't get Best Wardrobe.
Oh,
Did they
really?
get best soundtrack?
I know Billie Eilish won. I don't know if that's Best Song or Best Soundtrack, if that's different awards.
Yeah, Barbie won
Oscars,
Best
who cares?
Soundtrack.
Oh, okay. So there,
I saw that dog was there.
Oh wait, no.
It was cool to see that dog in the
Oppenheimer got best score.
Oppenheimer cleaned up. That's your Oscars recap. PFT, your who's back?
My who's back of the week is Princess Kate.
Yes.
Princess Kate's back. Our long national nightmare is over. There's been some speculation about what Kate Middleton's been up to because she had abdominal surgery.
No, she had Brazilian butt lift.
Well, that's what people are saying. That it might have been just giving her a little bit of that Pippa ass.
Mm-hmm.
And she's been out of the public
BBL?
eye.
She got a BBL. That's what people were saying.
We don't know what she had.
Streets were talking.
Well, she just came back with a rack. But anyways, she got abdominal surgery of some sort, and then she hasn't been seen for a very long time. So they put out a photo of her today. The royal family did. And it's her and her kids. And then within about 2 hours, the photo was taken down. And the Associated Press said, stop publishing this. We've determined that it's fake.
Oh.
So, and if you zoom in on her kids' hands, that's how you can tell. So AI is not good enough yet to do hands.
Whoa.
They can do everything else. But if you look at some of those Taylor Swift pictures, the hands are fucked up. So you zoom in on her kid's hands.
She doesn't have 6 fingers when she was kissing Andy Reid?
No. Apparently that wasn't real.
Oh.
But they're making the kids are doing these weird hand symbols, maybe Illuminati shit, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then her daughter's first finger is way bigger than the other. So they determined that they had edited the picture and it had been done using AI or at least advanced Photoshop.
Whoa.
So the plot thickens.
Well,
we don't know if she's still alive or not.
I thought the biggest story there was a picture of her in a car with her mother wearing sunglasses last week.
Okay.
That was the first one we saw. But the big story out of this is, where the fuck does England get off having a different Mother's Day?
What?
Today was Mother's Day in England.
Like Queen Mother?
No, that was the post was Happy Mother's Day. That was the post.
That's weird.
And everyone was like, it's Mother's Day in England today. You don't get to – we decide Mother's Day.
That's what we fought a war about.
You don't fucking get to decide Mother's Day. You don't get to do a different Mother's Day. Also, Mother's Day in March. No, Mother's Day should be farther along in spring, close to summer. You get some nice little brunch, all that shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck is England doing with a Mother's Day?
It has some
in March.
I bet you one of the
It's
queens,
conference championship week.
I bet you one of the queens flipped it around because it was closer to her birthday.
That's bullshit.
That's what I think.
That was a big story to me. I was like, and then everyone's like, yeah, it's Mother's Day. I saw our friend Troops did a happy Mother's Day to his mom.
It's not Mother's Day.
It's not Mother's Day.
It was International Women's Day on Sunday. Or on Saturday. You want to go back to back?
Imagine having a Mother's Day when fucking Lehigh is coming back from 20 points. That was John Rothstein joining us the show. Imagine having Mother's Day when Eastern Tennessee State comes back and wins in overtime. No.
It's way too early for that.
Mother's Day should be the fucking pink bats. Someone hits a home run, they cry. That's Mother's Day.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Father's Day is the U.S. Open.
Yeah, right. Or right, yeah, right around then.
Yeah.
But yeah, it should.
How do you follow that up? How do you get caught doing AI?
I don't know.
God. All right, I'm looking. Oh yeah,
See
his kids' fingers.
See the fingers?
Also, their faces. I immediately before I even
That might be the inbred part, though.
Yeah, it could be the inbred part, but they were all doing this weird ass open mouth smile. But yeah, the kids' fingers are all fucked.
They tried to pull a fast one on us. I'm so glad that we don't have a king and queen. Although it would kind of rock if it was who would be our king? Probably The Rock and Dolly Parton, America's king and queen.
Oh man, people are picking this apart.
Oh yeah, and then you've got all the super fans of the royal family telling people to back off and stop picking this apart. It's you pay.
No, you posted a fake picture.
You posted
on a fake Mother's Day.
You posted the fake picture on fake Mother's Day, and they're a fake family that you pay taxes and just to have them live a cool life so they can be your little mascots.
Yeah, she's BBL. That's what I'm going with. It was funny because I got onto this story maybe 2 weeks ago. It hit my radar, and I searched it, and it was just a bunch of women being like, you guys are so late to this story. We've been talking about Kate Middleton for 2 months.
They were all over it.
I was just like, shit, okay. All right, my who's back of the week is boxing. Boxing is back because Anthony Joshua knocked the fuck out of Francis Ngannou, and that feels good for boxing. No, nothing against Francis Ngannou. And by the way, he made the right choice. He made $20 million to get knocked out in the second round. But I am a boxing purist in the fact that I want boxers to always beat people who show up, whether it be a TikToker or an actual fighter who's a really good fighter in Francis Ngannou. Anyone who shows up into a boxing ring with no boxing training, I want them to lose every time.
It's just good to be like boxers are different. You know how you can
hand speed.
You can look at like super fast NFL players, and be like they don't have track speed though.
Yeah.
You put them in an arena with a like 100-meter dash specialist, they'll get dusted. I do like seeing that too, where it's like the sweet science prevails above all.
Or even reverse, 100-meter yard, like Usain Bolt trying to catch a football. You're like, yeah, see? Wouldn't work.
Can't play with big boys.
Yeah, I like that. So shout out Anthony Joshua for standing up for boxing.
I also feel the same way about like closers in baseball. It's like if you put a closer in to pitch the third inning, and just one inning, they couldn't do it. It's a different thing.
Yeah. Or you're the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yep.
And you just do that every game.
Or you're the Phillies in the World Series.
Yeah.
And the Astros pitch a no-hitter against you.
They did get no hits. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jake, your who's back?
My who's back of the week is the Wild, as in the actual Wild hockey team.
Yes, saw this.
They pulled off a crazy thing. They pulled their goalie in overtime, and it paid off.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before.
I like that. Just go for it.
They're playing 4-on-3. It was great.
But if it backfired, that coach, he would have gotten some questions.
I like it though. Now we're gonna see different coaches like maybe emulate that, and it's gonna backfire so hard in somebody's face eventually.
Yeah.
It's a ballsy thing. Like if it works, you're a genius, and if it doesn't work, then you're like the biggest dumbass on planet Earth. But the fact that it worked this time, I just love that you're going to get some of the dumber coaches try to implement it on their own without incorporating like the correct strategy to using it.
It reminds me of when Peter LaFleur blindfolded himself in sudden death. People were like, "What are you doing? You're an idiot." And then it worked.
Then it worked.
Yeah.
Then he's smart.
I was a big fan of this. Okay, good who's back, everyone. Let's get to our interview. We have Rick Pitino in studio, like 45 minutes. And yeah, it was great. We talked about everything. We talked about the Stalker. We told him that we've made some jokes. We didn't get into the specifics of jokes because I was feeling the room. I don't think that we wanted to just repeat the jokes we've made.
So Big Cat and I had a little conversation before Rick came in, and we came to the determination that it'd probably be best to just try to do a normal, good interview with him, as opposed to having him like become openly. Instead of antagonizing.
Well, he was nice enough to come in, and we're not going to just do a bunch of jokes that go over his head and then make him look bad. But we did address that we've made those jokes when we brought up the Stalker. I feel like we did a very good job, and I won't say that we're going to never do the jokes again, but I did enjoy the fuck out of that interview. Like I wanted him to come back on.
You might have said that.
No, we've already said that.
Yeah, I think
we said that. I think I saw. I think it was. In 2016, we said we'd never do the jokes again.
Yeah, it's been a while. But no, at the end, we asked if we had permission to do the jokes.
Yes. So tune in
and make sure to listen to the end of that.
Yeah.
There were 2 or 3 times during the interview where I was over here just biting my tongue.
Yeah. And then I did one intentionally at the end just to fuck with you.
That was not intentional.
The one I asked, the
it?
question I asked, yeah.
There's you could probably see it on tape. There's one time where I'm going to pass out because I'm holding my breath.
Yeah. Okay. Before we do that, we got a quick ad, and then we'll get to Coach Rick Pitino.
Before we get to Pitino, he's being brought to you by our great friends over at BetterHelp. This podcast is brought to you by BetterHelp. A lot of us spend our lives wishing we had more time. The question is, time for what? If time was unlimited, how would you use it? The best way to squeeze that special thing into your schedule is to know what's important to you and make it a priority. Therapy can help you find what matters to you so you can do more of it. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and you're going to get matched with a licensed therapist, then switch therapists at any time for no additional charge if you choose. Therapy can be for everyone. I've used it when I'm going through loss in my life, and it's been a very good way for me to express myself and learn different ways to deal and adapt to my emotions in productive ways. All you have to do is go to betterhelp.com/PMT today. Get 10% off your first month. Learn to make time for what makes you happy with BetterHelp. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/PMT. And now here's Rick Pitino.
Okay, we now welcome on a very, very, very special guest. It is head coach of St. John's basketball. It is Rick Pitino, legend of the game. Coach, first of all, thank you so much for making time for us. I know you got a busy schedule. Appreciate you stopping by. We got a million questions. Your career, you've been in basketball for so long. We're huge sports fans. But I wanted to start with St. John's in this season. You guys are on bubble watch right now. How does it feel? I mean, you have to be from your entire career being back, even in the bubble, you're like, this is great. I'm loving it. I would assume.
Well, first, thanks for having me. This really helps my street cred in New York. So
Yeah,
thanks for having me.
Okay.
Being on the bubble, I've had it so many different ways. I was a nervous wreck this time of year because you go through, you win 25 regular season games, you go down to Atlantic City, and if you don't win that tournament, you're done. So being on the bubble is great. We have 2 games remaining, which I think if we win, get us off the bubble, get us in the hunt. And you want to be playing, the most important thing of anything is to be playing your best basketball come March. It's one thing to get into a tournament, it's another thing to play great at this time of year, and I'm hoping we are.
Yeah.
I've noticed that your team's lateral quickness and agility has been much improved over the last 2 weeks. Any idea maybe why that happened?
That was premeditated. It wasn't a rant. I wanted my team to start to play better defense. I know how to motivate them, and immediately they wanted to show me their lateral quickness. Mm-hmm. And what I tried to explain to them is, in the NBA, nobody can stop anyone. Celtics had 80 points the other day and a half. So in order for us to stop anyone without lateral quickness, I mean, we're not Jokic. We're much better than that. And he's the best player in basketball. But it's got to be a team stopping them. This is not the NBA where the offense is so awesome. You can't stop anybody. Mm-hmm. We've got to rely on 5 guys in the gaps helping each other out to stop people. In the last 2 games, we've gotten that.
Yeah, so when you make those comments in the press, like you said, it was premeditated. Did your players know you were going to say that?
It didn't bother them in the least. It bothered other people, but it didn't bother. If that's the worst comment they can get, they're a little slow laterally or they're physically a little weak, that's the worst they ever hear in life. I mean, we got to toughen up a little bit.
Yeah.
This is when my players leave me, they're tough individuals.
Yeah.
They're able to handle adversity. They don't wilt when something bad happens.
And it's incredible because you are a little bit of a relic of the past in that sense, where there's a lot of coaching, especially in sports now, where it's maybe not as tough on the kids, but I love it. And I would assume, like, when you're recruiting kids, when you're bringing kids in, they know what they're buying here. They know what they're getting into. Like, Coach Pitino is going to coach you tough and make you a tough individual.
Well, the first thing you do is every single morning, I have 4 player development sessions that go 45 minutes. So if you're coming to play for me every single day, you're going for 45 minutes and you're going hard to improve your game. When Donovan Mitchell came to me, he had a line drive shot and he wanted to come play for me because of those player development sessions. Then you have your weight training. Then you have your afternoon practice. Then you have all these things go into the making of a really good basketball player. So some people may not want that. Some people want that. But I'm up front with them right from the beginning. If you don't love the game as much as I love it, I eat, sleep, drink it. It's part of my blood system. And if you don't have that, go somewhere else. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Have you had guys who have in your past, like they just not quit, but been like, hey, I can't do this. It's a little too tough.
I've been lucky. I've had great transfers in before this portal stuff. I had Mark Pope, the coach of BYU, Travis Ford, the coach of St. Louis. I've had some really great Derek Anderson, who came in from Ohio State. Great transfers that have done remarkably well. David Paget came from Kansas to me.
Yep.
So I've had great success with that. And I think the guys that can't play that way, it's not because of a lack of effort. It just may not be their level of play.
Right.
Coach, can I just say I'm a little bit disappointed in you today because when we found out that you were coming in, I was very, very excited. And I was hoping you were going to wear the white suit, and we didn't get the white suit. You're wearing the tracksuit. I knew this morning. I was like, you know what? Rick's going to come in here. He's going to be wearing a nice St. John's tracksuit, and that's fine. But I really wanted the white suit. How do you determine when you break the white suit out?
Well, it's a white out first, and it's the fun. I wasn't going to do it. Obviously, I'm 71, and I think that's a little past my prime as far as looking good.
I think you pull it off.
But I wanted to do it to relax my players. They thought it was the coolest thing. And when I came out, they would just say, we got to win. And it got them. They needed to win this game. Creighton's a very good basketball team. Right. It got them to relax a little bit, so it was worth it.
Yeah, I think that us as fans should know when the white suit is coming so we can adequately prepare for it. I would have definitely bet on you if I knew that the white suit was coming out. St. John's money line, no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
But, the reason I know that you love basketball is you're probably the first person ever to move from Hawaii to Syracuse, New York.
Yeah.
It's got to be like a club of one, and you did it. You did to coach college basketball, obviously. Was there a small part of you that was like, Hawaii's pretty good. I might just stay here for a while.
Jim Boeheim, actually, it was my wedding night. He came in on my wedding night to recruit me. I was going on my honeymoon to go to Syracuse. He was just named head coach. And I spent 4 hours with him. And back then, they didn't have registers where you sign up in a register, send some. You got envelopes. The Italians get envelopes filled with $100 bills.
Yep.
So I said to him, if you go up and open up the envelopes, I'm going to meet with this gentleman for an hour. 4 hours later, I took the Syracuse job. And I said, I've got great news. Instead of going to Hawaii on a honeymoon, you get to go to Syracuse and stay in Jim Boeheim's home while I go to Cincinnati to recruit Louis Orr. So a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, that shows you love it. Like, that's
you know, I really do. I absolutely eat, sleep, and drink the game. I love the game. I love March Madness. I love the Big East tournament. I love everything about basketball because it's 5 guys getting together. Even if you have your limitations, you can really help a team win. And basketball, to me, is the ultimate team game.
Yeah.
And I just love the pageantry behind it. I love what happens in March Madness. If you said to me now, who do you think's going to win? I can name you 8 teams that legitimately could win this thing.
Yeah. And I mean, it's also a testament, like, after the Louisville stuff, you didn't retire. Like, you could have easily retired and you know, been with your horses and had a great life, and you're like, no, I love basketball so much. I want to get back in the game.
What's funny, because I got interviewed twice by 2 schools, mid-majors, during my 2-year hiatus. And then a week before Christmas, I got a call from a fellow who's a UMass graduate. And he said, look, Coach, I spoke to Chris Wallace, who was the general manager of the Grizzlies at the time, and my GM with the Celtics. Would you like to come to Panathinaikos and coach? I said, well, what is that?
Yeah.
He said, it's in the EuroLeague. It's a famous program in Greece. The most famous. They've won 5 EuroLeague championships. I said, I've never been to Greece, and I don't know anything about the EuroLeague. It's not for me. So I turned it down. And a week later, he called me back and said, look, you got 48 hours to decide. And my wife says, you got to go. I said, I'm going to go to Greece. She said, it was Christmas Eve. I had to fly to Emirates in Newark, catch a flight, coach Christmas night against Cheska in first place. I said, all right, pack up, let's go. Oh, you're packing, you're going. I'm not going to Greece. So I took off my suitcases, not knowing anybody in Greece. Coach, we won that game against Cheska in first place that night. I had a wonderful 2 years, became their national coach for a short stint.
Yeah.
And I had a great time. It really, for me, being such a junkie, I learned a different brand of basketball. It's like the Warriors on steroids with their movement and their passing. And it's a different form of offense than we're used to. And I learned a lot. At age 65, I learned an awful lot, and that was great for me.
So a question about that. So the first night you show up, you don't know any of these guys. What'd you do in terms of coaching? Like, what did you say to them?
Well, Nick Kalathis, he played for Billy Donovan, so he knew of me right away. And I said, look, guys, you're going to run your same offenses. We're going to change some things defensively, but there'll be subtle changes. Right now, go out and play. But the one thing I want to tell, I want to see everybody play the hardest they can play so I can evaluate you.
Yeah.
And they won the game. We had a great run. It was fun. I traveled to places that I've never been, from Barcelona to Madrid to Tel Aviv to Lithuania to Russia to Moscow, St. Petersburg, and just places that were just awesome to see for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there any culture shock at all going over there? Or was it just basketball is basketball?
It was a different brand of basketball. So I'm in Tel Aviv. We just lost to Maccabi. Close game. And my general manager books us on a commercial flight. Now, we don't fly first class at POW. So we're waiting at the airport. We have a 4 o'clock flight back to Athens. The game is 9:30. We finish. We get to the airport at 12:30. James Gist and Nick Kalathis come up to me and said, Coach, I was reading a book. He said, Coach, let us buy you a beer. I said, is it open? He said, yeah, it stays open here. So we go to the bar. I said, I'll take any light beer. And they said, what do you guys want? Double Jack and Cokes. I said, no wonder we're freaking losing. Yeah. You guys double Jack and Coke. And they had a couple more, and I went back to reading my book.
Oh, that's funny. So the evolution of basketball, are there times when you look back, because you were someone who was early on, like the three-point shot, you know, your teams took a lot of threes, full court press. Is there part of you that watches the evolution of basketball? You're like, I was doing this 25 years ago. Like, finally people have caught up. Like, what's going on here?
You know, the funny thing, in 87, I took over a team that was dead last place since the inception of the Big East, 7 straight years. I knew from the meetings that Rolly Massimino, John Thompson, Big John, Louis Carnesecca, and one other older coach, they were not going to take threes. They were adamant against it. So I said, I'm going to take 15 to 20 threes, lead the country in three-point shooting. Only Jerry Tarkanian and myself adopted it right away.
Yep.
Then we played the Russians in an exhibition game, and they took 28 threes.
Wow.
And we took 16. And I said, I got to go higher. So we, in Las Vegas, led the country in three-point shooting and got to a Final Four. Villanova, St. John's, and Georgetown took about 2 threes per game in the first 5 or 7
That's
contests.
crazy.
Then when I took over the Knicks, we became the Bombinos.
Yep.
We just were bombing away, and now today, obviously, it's everybody's doing it.
Everyone does it. Yeah. So there's got to be a part of you that's like, I saw this before everyone, kind of.
Well, the Russians helped me.
Yeah.
That night that we played them in an exhibition, I realized that how to take the 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 is worth more than 2. It is kind of funny how long it took basketball to reach that conclusion.
Yes, but you have to take good shots so you have a chance to offensive rebound. If you come down the court and take a quick 3 without a chance for an offensive rebound, even if you're shooting 45%, it's not a high percentage shot.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to make sure you create movement and your guys can offensive rebound the miss because they're going to come off long.
Yeah. What's the hardest part about teaching the press? Because I love when a team presses, especially in college, because you find very quickly that a lot of teams can't handle the press, and it's like, well, they don't have the ball handlers for this, and it throws a wrinkle into everything. But in terms of teaching it, I maybe I'm way off. I feel like a lot of coaches don't do it because they don't want to teach it, and they don't want to get their guys stamina-wise to a point where they can press a lot.
Well, the second thing you said is so correct.
Yeah.
Stamina-wise, so we have 3 different presses based on how we score. So if we hit a 3-point shot, we're in a different press, back to a zone.
Yep.
If it's a dead ball, we're in a different press, back to a switching man. If we're in a 2-point shot, we're in a different press, back to a man. So we base it on how we score. It takes a long time to learn, but it's worth it once you get it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why do you think that NBA teams don't press at all?
NBA teams?
Yeah.
It's 82 games. It's tough on their legs. You know, there was no such thing. I pressed with the Knicks.
Yeah.
And we averaged, at that time, no one's really breaking 100. We averaged 116.8 points per game. We were third. Doug Moe's team at Denver outscored us. I think there was one other team. And then it became, by the time I came back to the Celtics, not one team was breaking 100. I was at a meeting with David Stern, Hubie Brown, Larry Brown, Pat Riley, Chuck Daly, and one other person to how to get scoring back in the game. David Stern called the meeting. And we really said there's only one way, not 8 seconds in the backcourt. You got to call fouls.
Yeah.
Get them to the foul line. It's dead time. Defense won't be as knocking out Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
It's changed.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And the game changed, and now it's too much.
Yeah.
80 points and a half by the Celtics is too much.
Is there any part of you, when you look at your career, when you have the success at Kentucky, you win a national title, and then you jump back to the NBA, is there any part of you that looks back to like, maybe I should have stayed at Kentucky because that was, it's Kentucky? Or were you like, I had to take the chance, I had to, the Celtics, I had to jump there, and NBA is the highest level of basketball in the world?
Yeah, I think if it wasn't, I was offered about 7 or 8 pro jobs before the Celtics. Obviously, I was the Knicks coach, and that's a dream for me being a New Yorker. But if in hindsight's 2020, if I had to do it all over again, I'd probably never leave Kentucky.
Yeah.
Dick Vitale, every time I speak to him, if you would have stayed at Kentucky, you'd have more wins than any coach. And you think back on that. But I learned a lot to coach the Boston Celtics, even if you didn't do a great job. It's just too much. You got Red Auerbach, you got Bill Russell on, Havlicek, Heinz, and so many greats. It was worth the experience. But if I had to do it all over again, I had a choice to bring back time, I probably would have stayed at Kentucky.
Did you ever think when you gave the press conference, the Larry Bird's not walking through that door, do you ever think that it would live on forever how it has?
Yes.
It's like it gets brought up all the time.
I know, it's great. It's the only probably good thing I've ever done in Boston.
It's just that press conference. But like when you said it, did you walk off? You're like, wow, I nailed that press conference.
I didn't know it. 25 years later, they still be playing it.
Yeah, it's a great clip. Also, if you never left Kentucky, you would never go to Louisville. Then you would never be the only coach to get 2 at different schools. But I know people will be like, oh, it's vacated, it's vacated. You still have the tattoo.
Yeah, we don't count vacated.
The tattoo. You didn't vacate your tattoo,
that's the
right?
greatest hypocrisy of all time. First of all, what went on, I've said it many, many times, it was reprehensible behavior by a few people. So the NCAA came and said it was $5,600 in 3 years period for 4 times a year that they did the wrong thing. It had nothing to do with steroid use. It had nothing to do with breaking rules to an advantage on the basketball court. We earned that championship. You can't take down a championship. You can't change history, whether it's a wartime, peacetime, you can't change history.
Yeah.
We won the national championship playing a great game against Michigan. Peyton Seaver, Russ Smith, Luke Hancock, Gorky Zhang, Montrezl Harrell, Shane Bennett, they won it. Kevin Ware broke his leg. They won the championship fair and square. Nothing else could get in the way. And sooner or later, the NCAA is going to get smart and do two things. Put that championship banner back, and the second thing the Heisman people will do, give that Heisman trophy back to Reggie Bush.
Yeah, agreed.
Johnny Manziel said he was going to boycott the ceremony.
I matched.
They do it.
I said I'm not going to the Heisman anymore.
I'm not.
I've
either.
never been.
You know what?
That is such a hypocrisy. First of all, there's probably half of those guys that won the Heisman Trophy that got paid amounts of money.
Right.
He's not the only Heisman Trophy winner that got some benefits for their families.
Yeah.
So let's stop being, especially in this day and age when the players are now professionals, let's give the gentleman back what he deserves.
Yeah.
I agree. But no one from the NCAA called you and said, "Will you have your tattoo removed?"
No. And if they did call me, I'd hang up on them.
Yeah.
So in terms of all the players you've coached, who is the best player, natural best player you've coached? And then who's the player that you coached that got more out of his talent level, like where it's like he worked so hard that he became a player that I never even expected?
Patrick Ewing was the best player I've coached, and Paul Pierce was probably second. Oakley was the toughest guy I've ever coached. But Jamal Mashburn was the best college player I've ever coached.
Yep.
The greatest overachiever by far was Billy Donovan.
Yeah.
Billy the Kid. I used to play basketball back then. I was still young, and I would play Billy one-on-one and beat him 15-0, 15-0, 15-1. 2 years later, it was all in his favor. And
Yeah.
Billy, he lost 30 pounds. He became someone I didn't even think about putting in the game when I first took over, to became Billy the Kid, the fastest gun in the East.
Yeah.
And carried us on his back to a Final Four.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you must have, watching him, this year is the first time that it feels like we have a chance of having maybe a back-to-back champion in UConn, but watching him and what he did at Florida, that's got to be one of the best feelings of a guy that you was under your wing.
You know, one of my biggest disappointments with the Hall of Fame is the fact that he's not in it.
Yeah.
Because you guys probably know this better than me. I think there's only 5 or 6 programs that have won back-to-back. He's one of them. And the first year, he was picked, I think, 8th or 9th in the SEC.
Yeah.
And he's had a great playing career, great coaching career. Now he's in the pros. If anybody deserves the Hall of Fame, it's Billy the Kid.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. And you've coached against some of the all-time greats. The Big East rivalries throughout the years are just, you think of the coaches. What's the one coach that you think of, like you had the toughest battles against, the one that you knew?
I would say the guy I've had the most respect for, and I cringed having to play him, was Dean Smith. I've coached against Frank McGuire, Dean Smith, some of the great old-time coaches, but Dean Smith was truly an innovator. I coached against Bill Self for the first time at Iona, and preparing for him and watching 10 tapes, I said, that's a great basketball coach. And I'll tell you what's surprising. When I was a Celtic coach, I used to go around on my days off, and if I was in town, watch a college practice. And you'd be amazed at some of the guys you didn't know were great coaches. When people say about great coaches, if you have to watch a practice to determine whether a coach is great, not just on the sidelines. And for instance, I watched Skip Prosser from Wake Forest. He who passed away, he ran a great practice. And you go around and you watch these guys, and Bill Self, when I watched 10 tapes, he's a great one.
Yeah.
A great one.
Yeah. What about the rivalry that you would get the most up for, whether it be old Big East or when you were at Kentucky, the guy you always wanted to beat?
Well, Dale Brown, we had some battles with Dale Brown. Mm-hmm. We won most of them. In Kentucky, you win most of your games. You could plan a Friday night party because you're going to win most of your home games.
Yeah.
Kentucky's something special. It really is. At Louisville, you had to work to get that special feeling to win that game, and we started doing it at Louisville as well.
Yeah.
But Kentucky-Louisville was a great rivalry. We're trying to build some in the Big East. Connecticut right now, we're all trying to get to that level of Connecticut, and they've got it going. They have almost a perfect team.
Yeah.
Their backups come in, and they're just as good as their starters for 2 years now.
Do you think Danny Hurley, because we've had him on a bunch of times and we're big fans of him, do you think he's kind of a throwback coach? Because that's what we miss a little bit about college basketball. When you get the Coach K or the Boeheim, some of these guys retire. College basketball is a lot about the coach, because the players change, but the coaches and the imprint they have on their university and the team, that's what fans keep coming back for. Do you see him as kind of a throwback?
Well, I've known Danny since he's a young kid as a player.
Right.
And I know the Hurley family. I was friends with his dad. A great family. Danny is a tremendous coach. There's things about Danny that bother me. The way he gets on referees bother the hell out of me because he gets calls. But as far as my respect for his coaching ability, he's a great coach. Great coach, offensively as well as defensively, preparation-wise. He has all the answers. I'll tell you what else he does. He puts the pieces that fit into the puzzle together. He's got a backup center that's terrific. His players also get a lot better as the league. Remember he didn't win a Big East game in the month of February, I think it was.
Yeah.
January or February. He didn't win a Big East game last year. We played him in the first round at Iona. We were the only team to be up at halftime.
Played a perfect half.
And then everything fell apart.
They interviewed you at halftime, and I could tell. I was like, you're like, that was a perfect half, but we got a lot more to go.
Yeah, and they came out in the second half and just they were a great team, and they have a team this year just as good as last year.
Yeah,
yeah, and I suspect that if you were to ask other coaches around the league what they don't like about Rick Pitino, they would probably say exactly what you said about Danny Hurley, which is you know how to work the refs.
Actually,
right?
Want to know something? I don't even talk to the refs during the game. About 15, 20 years ago, I got so upset at them that I said, I'm going to leave. What I do during the game, will you stop talking to him? Will you stop? You're getting paid to referee the game. Will you stop talking to that coach and concentrate on the game? That's what I say to them all the time during the game. I stay off them now. It's been a long time since I've had a technical foul.
Was that a lesson that was learned the hard way?
Probably. I think it takes you away from the strategy of the game. What plays next defensively, offensively. I think if you're always worrying about the referee's call and trying to get the next call, I just don't get involved in that anymore.
That's interesting. What would you say, how would you describe the Rick Pitino basketball philosophy?
Good question.
Thank you.
Well, it's changed. I spend a lot more time on offense today in creating ball movement and player movement than I ever did. So we're getting ready to play a game. And I would say back when I worked for UB Brown, 90% of that game walkthrough was defensively stopping the opposition. Today, in a walkthrough, it's 50% getting ready to score against their defense as well as 50% stopping it. So just as much offense as defense today, which never was in the past.
Yeah.
Because I read something about your defensive coaching style in particular, your defensive coaching philosophy. This was in the New York Post a couple of years ago. I don't know if you remember how they led the article about it, but it was you saying, your ass, your ass, your ass. Hit him with your ass. So just playing like physical butt-forward defense, just knocking people out of their way.
Well, I also termed it the mother-in-law defense. Constant pressure and harassment. And, so we just try to take you out of what you do well, and I think everybody tries to do that today. The scouting and the metrics that are used are so sophisticated today that you got to be on top of everything. You got to know that he's shooting within 8 feet of that rim. He's shooting 87% from there, but 16 foot, he goes down to 24%. So you got to know whether he's going dominant right, dominant left. You got to know all the metrics of every single player.
What's the one thing that when guys get to your program that you think like youth basketball is kind of failing? Like the one thing you have to then reteach them, or the fundamental that gets lost. Like even bring up the ass. Like I think boxing out, like finding a man, sometimes gets lost in these big games.
I'll give you an example. So it's been just until the last 2 weeks I've been able to get my team to throw bounce passes.
Oh, that's a good answer.
So I finally said to them, in a radius of 6 to 8 feet, you are not allowed to throw chest passes. So if you're coming down the lane, there's no chest passes. You must throw a bounce pass, and that's a EuroLeague philosophy.
Yeah.
And it's made in the last 2 games, we've had 3 turnovers and 6 turnovers from a team that was averaging 11. So it's made a huge difference, but it has taken so long because they've grown up without throwing a bounce pass.
Yeah.
Where in the EuroLeague, you may see per possession 3 or 4 bounce passes.
Yeah.
Rapid fire bounce passes. And to get them to throw it on the break, to get them to throw it in a 6-foot radius, 8-foot radius, there's no passes. Now, you can throw a lob up top, but you've got to throw a bounce pass. And it's made a huge difference in our basketball team.
I like that.
And boxing out, I always teach your forearm, you hold them off with your forearm, and then you hit them.
Yeah.
Because what happens is they push you in the back. If you're not ready, you're trying to box out and they push you in the back. They never call that, hardly ever.
Yep.
So hit him with your forearm first and then move him back.
And then move them back.
Why do you think that they don't do bounce passes anymore? That seems like a much more difficult pass to.
I don't think it's
deflect.
taught at the AAU level, which is a lot of basketball. I don't think it's taught. It's just should be taught because it's a low. People are always trying to deflect the ball. They're always up here deflecting the
That's
ball.
where your hands are.
They don't deflect the bounce pass, and it has to be taught that way. It may seem simple and very elementary, but it's so important.
Yeah.
We're going to get back to Coach Pitino in a second. He's brought to you by Proper Number 12. St. Patty's has almost arrived. Proper Number 12 is here to remind you that practice makes proper. Proper 12 is brought to you by a true Irishman, Dublin 12's own, the notorious Conor McGregor. Proper 12 pays homage to Conor's Irish hometown roots, a rich and smooth blend of golden grain and single malt aged 4 years in bourbon barrels. Anything else just wouldn't be proper. Pour the roar of the St. Patty's Day with a proper green tea shot made with smooth and rich proper Irish whiskey. Hank, we're going to be enjoying some drinks on St. Patrick's Day, right?
Very excited.
How does a proper green tea shot sound to get things started?
Delicious.
That sounds like the perfect start to a perfect St. Patrick's Day. That's going to be drink one on Saturday as Henry and I are celebrating together on the high seas of Chicago. A proper St. Patty's starts with a proper Irish whiskey. Celebrate with the original rich and smooth Proper Number 12, our new crisp and fresh Irish apple. Rick Pitino is also being brought to you by our great friends at Viator. Experiences are what people love the most about travel. Viator is a website and app where you can book travel experiences like tours to sports stadiums, hikes, ATV rides, and much, much more. They offer everything from simple tours to extreme adventures. I'm taking a vacation this summer. I'm going to hit up Viator to see what they have in store for me because guess what? It's not just nationwide, it's worldwide. With over 300,000 bookable experiences in 190 countries, there's something for everyone. Plus, Viator's travel experience have millions of real traveler reviews, so you have the information that you need to book the best activities for your trip. When you book a travel experience with Viator, there's always flexibility and support with free cancellation, payment options, and 24/7 service. Download the Viator app now. Use code Viator10 for 10% off your first booking in the app. That's VIATOR10. Viator10, 10% off your first booking in the app. One app, over 300,000 travel experiences that you will remember. Do more with Viator. And now, here's more Coach Pitino.
All right. Tough question. When you think back at your career, one win that you think back and you're like, that's the win that pops to your head. It's like, that was the biggest win. And then one loss that that eats away at you forever.
Okay, so second year, Georgetown, at Providence. Tie ball game. Providence makes a free throw, 2 free throws. They were down 1 to go up. I don't call a timeout. I said to Billy the Kid, milk the clock. Earlier in the game, John Thompson is screaming at our bench. He's ranked 5th in the nation. I got a bunch of altar boys that can't play. And he's screaming, and I said to my assistant, who's he yelling at? Now, he's a Providence College graduate, by the way. He says, screaming at you. So I go up. I said, what's up, Big John? What's up? You're the dirtiest MFs I've ever played in my life. And because this is Georgetown, they were known as the toughest team in America. I start laughing. He goes ballistic on me because I thought he was kidding.
Yeah.
I walk away, and finally, you got 13,000. I go back, and I go after him. And there I stood at his navel and started yelling back at him. So he puts his arm around me after the game, puts me in a headlock, and says, I'm so proud of you, what you're doing with my alma mater. But when you come to Georgetown, I'm going to kick your ass. He beat us by 13. We beat St. John's opening round of the Big East tournament. He beat us 33 in the second round.
Oh, jeez.
So now we finally made the NCAA for the first time in 7 years. We beat UAB on their home court in overtime. We beat them convincingly. Then we beat Austin Peay, who upsets Illinois in overtime. Then we beat a great Alabama team with 3 NBA players on it, shoot 68% for the game. And who do we have to face in Louisville, Kentucky? Georgetown. Oh. And the only team in the country my guys are afraid of.
Yeah.
I said to them, you guys are the luckiest damn guys I've ever coached in my life. Who's the one team that's going to take you lightly? Georgetown. This won't even be a game, fellas. Won't even be a game, I guarantee it. Was never a game. We killed them. And I was just trying to get their confidence.
Yeah.
I was worried about them just blowing us out.
Yeah.
And so that's the one game I truly treasure, that Georgetown game in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yep.
One game I wish I had back was a game against Kentucky, where I told Francisco Garcia, whatever you do, don't leave the guy taking it out. It's coming back to him. And we were up. We're going to win the game. It was our Final Four, and he left the guy out of bounds. And
It was 2012?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no.
2005.
Okay, all right.
2005. That game, we had the game, we outplayed him, and we left him. Whatever you do, don't come off the ball. Don't come off the ball. We came off the ball, and that I remember so well because all we had to do is stay on it, and it's Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, that one sticks to you. So speaking of Kentucky, have you you were obviously worried about St. John's, but have you seen Reed Shepherd this year at Kentucky? You coached his
I
dad.
coached Jeff Shepherd.
Yeah,
and
it's pretty cool.
And know the mom very well because she was there playing. She was a great guard as well. He's tremendous.
Yeah.
Tremendous. He's a great shooter, great passer. He's extremely athletic. I don't know if you got a glimpse of him blocking that shot in the corner, getting off his feet. He's got a big decision to make. He's probably a top 8 pick in the draft. He's the closest thing to the Pat Riley days. He's the closest thing to a Rex Chapman for Kentucky. Does he stay? Does he leave? Because they're two Kentucky people. I think I have the answer to that question, but I'll keep it to myself.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you said that there were, 8 teams that you could see winning the championship this year? Who are those 8 teams?
So without leaving anybody out, obviously Houston and Connecticut are two that stick out in your mind. I think Kentucky's interesting because they score so many points. Their offense is so great. Can they do that for 6 games without getting into a lockdown game with Virginia?
Yeah, slow it down, yeah.
So can they do it? But they're very talented on offense, as talented as anybody in the nation. Obviously, Marquette is a great basketball team because they have a very unusual style of play, and they can hurt you come tournament time if you're not ready for that style of play. I think Tennessee has the ability to win a national championship. Out west, I don't see anybody out west that can do it with the exception of Kansas, and I don't think this is one of Bill's great teams.
Yeah.
So I question that.
What about Arizona?
I was going to say Arizona.
Yeah, okay.
Arizona's definitely a team.
Yeah.
Has the right style of play. They're very fast up and down the court. Terrific basketball coach. But I think Connecticut, Houston, Marquette, and the last one's the favorite, who I think's going to win it. I said it in a tweet about a month ago. I think Purdue's going to win it.
Ooh.
Yep. And I remember you guys got a big kick out of this because Tony Bennett lost to the 16 seed, the first time a 1 seed's lost. He's one of the great guys in our business. Jay Wright, Tony Bennett are two of the greatest people as people. And I texted him and said, Tony, I can tell you're going to go to multiple Final Fours. You're going to win a national championship. I know you're down about this losing to a 16 seed. The following year, won a championship.
Yep.
Purdue last year lost to FD Fairleigh Dickinson.
Yep.
And I feel that it's their year. I
Yeah.
think they're going to win the national championship this year.
Is that the formula now? Losing to a 16
Yeah.
seed? Set yourself
That's
up
what
nicely.
I'm saying. Anybody who goes through that torture should win a national
Yeah.
championship.
So what would be your defensive game plan against Purdue with Zach Edey?
Well, prior to this, it was just Zach Edey and some good players.
Yeah, the guards were young.
But
yeah.
but now they've got all the answers.
Yeah.
They're better defensively. He's a great coach. They're better defensively, better offensively. They have more weapons around him. So I think they could win it. Houston could win it, certainly. Tennessee has a really good basketball team. Arizona's terrific. But this is a year that there's 9 teams that could win it.
So you've been obviously to many Final Fours, won 2 titles. What is it about coaching in March Madness? Like, do you change your style when you get into that tournament setting and everything ratchets up and everyone's watching?
I think you have to be a risk taker. You have to really get your offense to play faster. I think everybody gets a little tight because it's one game and you're out. I think you got to get your guys to play faster. You got to get your guys to not think about the score. You got to constantly try to push it on offense. So the thought process is not every time down the court, what are we going to run? Do they know what play we're going to run? If you say 2 up, it's going down low, trap the low. I want to take away all the scouting. So I want to play faster than we normally play.
Yeah.
Big Cat asked a tough question about the greatest player that you've ever coached, all that stuff. What about the greatest play you've ever seen?
It was my mistake by not putting a guy on the ball if I had to do it all over again. Mm-hmm. But the mistake I made was when that pass went from Grant Hill to Christian Leitner, and he turned around. I made one mistake. Everybody thinks it was not putting a guy on the ball because they did the same thing. Indiana did the same thing. I think it was Connecticut. They threw it up the sideline with a guy on the ball, and I think it was Kevin Ollie, one of those players, made the shot. It wasn't that I didn't put a guy on the ball.
Tate George. It was Tate
Yes,
George?
Tate George, exactly.
Yes.
My mistake was I grabbed Fellhouse and Pelfrey and said, whatever you do, they haven't missed a free throw. Don't foul them. I should have said, knock the ball down because we sandwiched Christian Leitner.
Yeah.
And both players froze like this and they didn't even try to block the shot.
So they were thinking, don't foul.
Don't foul. My mistake was I should have said, sandwich him, knock the ball down, not whether I put a guy on the ball or not. And that was my mistake in that game.
So you wouldn't, if you could do it again, you wouldn't put a guy on the ball? Because I always think you got to have a guy on the ball just because it makes it a little bit more difficult.
I do now. I put a guy on the ball. I remember a game where they ran the baseline and the guy on the ball knocked the guy over, and that you got to be careful of that. But you can tell your guys not to do that.
Yeah.
Yes, I would put the tallest guy on the ball, and if I didn't put a guy on the ball, like Bobby Knight never would put a guy on the ball. If I sandwich the guy, we're knocking that ball down, we're stealing it. But I would definitely put a guy on the ball today.
Yeah, I feel like that was the greatest pass ever thrown in college basketball.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's a testament to your career that that is one of the most iconic March Madness moments that you were on the wrong side of, and people don't really – it's more about Christian Leitner and Duke than it is about Rick Pitino and Kentucky.
I think it was a 102-101 ending or 103-102. I forgot the final score, overtime score. And we played the overtime without Jamal Mashburn.
Yeah.
And he was a key. And when we got back home, the Kentucky kids who never played, Farmer, Fellhouse, Pelfrey, Woods, he's not from Kentucky. And when we got back and the bus arrived at Rupp Arena, they hung their jerseys to the rafters.
Wow.
That's nice. Yeah. But there was never any question in your mind that the ball was going to Christian Leitner on that play.
No, we knew it was going to Christian Leitner. But I said to my two guys, it's going to Leitner. Yeah. And what I thought would happen was it would go to Leitner and he would pass it like this.
Yeah.
I didn't think he would turn around because we were going to sandwich him. But my guys, I grabbed him just at the end, and I regret it to this day. I said, whatever you do, don't foul him.
Yeah.
And I wish I wouldn't have said that.
And it's got to also, losing to Coach K, because he's kind of like smug, that's got to stick to have to shake his hand. Ugh.
He talks to your players in the line afterwards. I just want to let you know that you played a great game. I'm proud of all you guys.
Yeah.
I'm proud that we beat you today.
It had to hurt a little extra, right, when you lost to Coach K? Just a little bit.
Well, interesting enough, either 20 or 25 years in 2013, who did we play in the Elite Eight to get to the Final Four?
Yep.
Coach K.
Yeah.
To the day when Kevin Ware broke his leg.
Yeah.
But it was Coach K.
Okay.
And the first time I mentioned it in 20 or 25 years was at halftime.
Oh, wow.
First time I mentioned that game.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't talk about it. You wouldn't think about it.
I didn't want to hear about it anymore, but at halftime there I told him the story, and I said some things that, but not publication, but said some things about playing Duke.
Yeah.
Which we would probably agree with.
Appreciate. We appreciate it.
Because I was wondering if after that game, Coach K came, knocked on your locker room door, and asked for the opportunity to address your team.
Yeah, Coach. All right, I got the weirdest question of this interview. Maybe the weirdest question you're ever going to get. So bear with us here. So this show we've been doing for 8 years. We bust balls. We make fun of ourselves a lot. We have made some jokes at your expense. And you have a guardian angel. I don't know if it's a guardian angel. I don't know what it is. There's a random number that texts me every time we make a joke at your expense and says, watch it, we're going to end your career.
Really?
Yes. Pretends to be part of, might have been one of these guys. Might be one of these guys.
Are you being serious?
I'm being dead serious, Coach.
They said
I'll read you the text message.
Last year at March Madness, they were like, meet us at this restaurant in Houston, and we're going to settle this man-to-man.
This has been happening since you were at Louisville. So this has been happening. I remember it. The first time ever was I made a joke. And I mean, you've heard all the jokes, but we've like I said, we bust balls about everyone on this show. But we made a couple jokes about, you're ending at Louisville, maybe some trials and stuff. But the joke was made when you were on game day, and I got a text right after being like, "Watch what you're doing. Like, I'm close with Coach Pitino. You better be careful." And it's been happening every single time for the last 7 or 8 years. At first, I thought it was your son. And then I was like, nah, it can't be his son. That would be crazy. This was the last one. He said, you and your sidekick want to get puffed up and take shots at Coach Pitino now that you moved away from New York City. We're coming to Chicago for the DePaul game in 2 weeks. So we're going to come have a few words with you two. I've warned you before about taking unfair shots at Coach, and you don't learn. We're going to finally get this settled. Real text message. How crazy is that?
Well, how did they get your number?
I don't know. And it's
That's-
always an untraceable number. So I don't know if it's like,
Well, I can assure you it's no member of the Pitino clan.
I was hoping you'd be like, yeah, it was me all along. I'm the one who's listening
I would
to your
respect
podcast.
that. Yeah.
Now, to tell you the truth, look, I have no problem with people making fun of me or, I hate politics for a reason. I watch them, the way they talk about each other. So I want no part of that. But this is entertainment.
Yeah.
It's entertainment. And when you're a coach and you're walking off the court and you're listening to what the student body is saying about you, and it's a Catholic school, and you say you just got to put your head down and just walk out.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't have any problem with that at all. It's part of the journey. I've had more compliments than I deserve in my life. So you got to take the good with the bad. And certainly laughter is the best form
Agreed.
for anything. This
Agreed.
is entertainment. Laughter is great. I'm in this business at going to be 72 because I laugh a lot with my players. When the laughter goes, I said it earlier in the year at that press conference, I'm not enjoying this. And I said it not as far as the team. I'm not enjoying what goes on right now in college basketball because it's, I took Peyton Seaver, Russ Smith, or Donovan Mitchell, Terry Rozier, and we nurtured them through to become really good. Mashburn got him to his junior year. Francisco Garcia. It's about growing. I may be looking at 3 guys returning next year, and I got to bring in 10. They all become free agents, and we're sitting around at meetings. And what I really don't like about where I'm at right now is we're sitting around meeting and saying, I'm hearing this guy from North Carolina may be available, this guy from Duke, Cincinnati, this guy from Wisconsin may leave, this guy from Ohio State. And to me, I was at Iona, and the entire league was poached.
Yeah.
The entire league, every good player in the MAC was poached by another school. And for someone growing up who's loved college basketball, it's just not something I like. I think Jay Wright got out of it because of that, and he's not only a tremendous coach, but a tremendous person. And that's and there's no correctable solution.
Yeah.
Unless they become employees where we can sign them to contracts for 2-3 years. I don't blame a kid to put his name in a hat. He's making, say, 6 figures, and he can make high 6 figures. Why not?
Yeah.
We would all do that if we could.
Yeah.
You guys are great at what you do. And all of a sudden, if you put your name out there in the media world and you could quadruple your pay, you would do it as well. You all have families. So
Yeah.
it's something I'm not used to, something I don't like, and it's not enjoyable.
Yeah. So to put a bow on it, you can call off the hit on the Stalker.
Yeah, whoever's stalking me.
I think you're safe. I think
Okay.
you're safe.
And we do make jokes, so we wanted to become clean with that, and we have made jokes, but we make jokes about ourselves just as much.
It's okay. Listen,
Okay.
I don't know who it is, and I think that sometimes, look, you guys got a great Barstool has stood the test of time here,
Yeah.
and this is my first time being here, and obviously people know that you would take a hit on me, or they would say something. Barstool, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm not that I'm thick-skinned. It's just I know how to laugh.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and that, I mean, we always feel bad when we have someone come in who we want to interview you for a very long time. It's like we have to be at least honest that we've made these jokes, and there's someone who wants to have me killed. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's okay.
I think you're safe.
Listen, when you get into the Pitino business, you might get killed here with this guy just coming after
I
me.
mean, credit to us. You told the story.
You're
about,
big enough to handle yourself.
Listen, and I just want to also say, I'll get this out on the open. My wife bought me a shirt. It says not Italian but supportive, because my children are Italian. They're quarter Italian. She's half Italian. So I'm not Italian, but I'm supportive.
You're
I
okay.
just want to respect,
Also, when you told the story about Jim Boeheim on your wedding night, we didn't make any jokes at all.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah.
And I had to bite my lip, but I did it out of respect for you, Coach.
But you are what I love about college basketball. I love tough coaches. I love old school coaches. Like, that's what I was saying when Dan Hurley. Like, I'm drawn to that because it's like I miss that. I want like when you were in the Big East in the 80s and all those coaches were characters and they were people, and like something about that is just so great.
I'll tell you a final story, which is interesting, because whenever anybody ever questioned my integrity in the game, I said, look, don't listen to me. If I say I didn't do it, I didn't know it, don't listen to me. Talk to my players.
Yeah.
Just don't interview me. Don't interview antagonists. Talk to my players. So one of the great things that happened to me when I was getting ready to be in front of this, not a trial, this group of lawyers and people to be exonerated by the NCAA. we got letters from every player I coached at Louisville. And I said, just write the letters and just tell them exactly what I'm about. Good, bad, or indifferent. Just say whatever you want to say. And when I got the letters after the trial was over and read them, it made me cry. Because all of them said the toughness and the love that he's shown us made us go out there and we can handle anything. And it just, the guys I was hardest on said the most glowing things. And you probably notice when you look back on your academic career, the teachers you loved the most were the ones that made you work the hardest. And that's what we as coaches do. We are trying to get the most out of them so they can go on in life, whether it's basketball. I mean, most of my guys now at St. John's aren't going to play in the NBA. They're going to go to Europe. And you got to be tough. You're going to get a Serbian coach who's running 4-hour practices. And if you don't play 3 straight games, they cut you from the team. They send you home and they say, take us to FIBA court. We're not paying you.
Right.
And that's what happens over there. So I think my players are ready for those experiences. And they're ready to go out there and perform.
Yeah,
it's
I love
good,
that.
Good preparation for him.
Yeah.
I had one more question about some of your players. So you mentioned Russ, and I remember reading an article, I think it was in Sports Illustrated back in the day, that you named a horse after Russ.
Rusticulous.
Rusticulous.
That was my nickname of him.
Because you loved him so much as a player, you named a horse. Do you have any horses now that are named after players?
The ones Rusticulous started out, I think, at Belmont Park and ended up in Montana. So he wasn't doing well. I named another horse Gorky, and I think he was at Turf Paradise in Phoenix.
Yeah.
So I have a great horse story. So I had a horse that I sold as a 2-year-old for $15 million.
Wow.
2-year-old champion called AP Valentine. We bought him on his birthday was Valentine's Day. My 4 partners, there were 5 of us. Obviously, Lane's End had 10%. They stayed in on the horse. We bought it for $450,000. I think there were 5 of us. Chris Sullivan from Outback Steakhouse, the founder of Outback Steakhouse, owned 20%. He bought a lot in Pebble Beach. He put up $200,000 and made $3 million. Another guy bought a Park Avenue apartment for his $3 million. Another guy bought a beautiful home in Nantucket. What I did was, I'm much more savvy business-wise than those guys. I said I'm going to put it in a limited partnership, and I'm going to just buy horses. For the next 10 to 15 years, I'm going to either run it up to $10 million or go broke. I'm okay. It's found money.
Yeah.
So, but I have 10 years to spend this $3 million. 2 years later, I was broke. I went over my next 18 horses. So that industry, I can tell you guys, if you want to buy a piece of a horse, buy 2%. It's just as much fun as 100%.
Yeah, I love it, though. What's your favorite track?
Saratoga.
Yep, incredible.
Yep, and
Can't be beat.
I like Del Mar because the post time is 2:00.
Yeah,
and if you want to do some things in the morning, you could do. But by far, Saratoga is the best in horse racing.
What about Keeneland? Would you go to Keeneland when you were in Kentucky?
Yeah, I did go to Keeneland. I went to Keeneland when they weren't announcing the races.
Oh wow!
You could just watch. There was no announcer where the horse was going. That was a tradition. You watched the race. You will follow. The numbers are all the same color. And then they started announcing a few years later.
Wow. All right. I have one last question. This has been unbelievable, Coach. We really appreciate you coming by, and we'd love to have you back on anytime. Roback question, RHOBACK.com. Promo code TAKE, 20% off your first purchase. Q-zips, polos, hoodies, joggers, shorts. Roback.com, promo code TAKE. How many more years do you think you're going to coach?
Well, as I said earlier, I always said this. I'm going to coach until I'm not having fun. And I did make a statement I wasn't having fun. But it has nothing to do with what's being played on the court between the lines. It's been a tough year, really tough year, being part of this, what's happening in college basketball. And so I've got to get my mind right with this. And I'm very lucky. I have some boosters that are willing to step up. I wish it wasn't this way anymore, but it is this way, and I got to live with it. Mm-hmm. This free agency every single year now. Just a year ago, I was told that if you get a transfer, he can't transfer again. So I said, okay, let's go after transfers.
Right.
So we have them, and we could build them and nurture them and make them good basketball players. Now, all of a sudden, that's out.
Yeah.
Midway through this year, that's out. There's going to come a time where someone's going to transfer in December, and he's going to be able to play right away.
Right.
Because he's going to take it to court. So I don't like it, but I have to live with it. So I'm in good shape. mentally and physically. I love the game. I think I'm going to coach as long as I can be happy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a matter of age. Just be happy.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to do what President Biden's doing at his age. I think he should just enjoy life a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know why he's doing it.
Yeah.
Look at his dogs. His dogs aren't even under
A
control.
lot of stress. A lot of
You got any
It is.
player-
I mean,
until
you're
your
a leader
player-
in a free world.
Until your players start like biting 31 Secret Service agents.
Yeah.
That's when you know it's time
Yeah.
to get out.
Yeah, no question.
What? Oh, last question. What's Rick Pitino's favorite Italian restaurant? Like, you go, what are you ordering?
Well, I love pasta, but I don't eat that much of it. Absolutely love it. So I'd say my go-to meal is either ossobuco or chicken palm.
Yeah.
I'm going to order one of those two. But I could eat pasta every day of my life, but I don't because obviously I want to be able to get into that white jacket.
Yeah, that's true.
It's important.
That's
It's
true.
important for sure.
Yeah. Well, Coach, thank you so much. Best of luck rest of the year. Hopefully we're watching you in the tournament. We've got to win a couple games here, but
Yep.
hopefully we're watching you in the tournament. And like I said, anytime you want to come back on, we'd love to have you back on. I also we're going to retire Rick Pitino jokes because you were so gracious to come in. So that's
Unless the
Unless you
NCAA
want
tells
us
us
to.
to vacate
I
the
just-
retirement.
I just-
unless you want us to.
Listen.
You want us to retire him? We don't have to retire him.
If you want to retire him, you do. But
Yeah.
I appreciate you having me on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think you want us to do more. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
No.
No, your team is saying more jokes.
No more jokes.
No more jokes?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Breaking balls is friendship. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. We'll find out who's stalking me. I don't know. it would have been great if you were like, yeah, that was me. I've been texting you for 8 years.
If I would, I'd like to have your cell number.
Yeah. That'd be great. All right. Well, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay. Let's wrap up the show. We got a little, before we do Hank's Patriots Dynasty talk, some housekeeping. So here's what we got coming up. Wednesday on all the Pardon My Take channels, we will be fulfilling the pancake bet from our Pancakes Only League. So we're going to watch college basketball, and we're going to eat some pancakes. TBD on the start time. We're going to look at the schedule and see what time games are going to be so we can sync them up. But somewhere around 5 to 6 o'clock Central Time, we will begin our journey into eating pancakes. For a reminder for everyone, Memes has to eat 24. It's the same challenge that everyone's been doing for their fantasy football challenge, where it's hours and pancakes. So if we're in there for 7 hours, Memes would have to eat 17 pancakes. So Memes has to eat 24. Max has to eat 18. PFT 12. Jake 3, myself 6, Hank 0. Hank 1. Dude, this kind of makes up for the whole stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be painful.
It's going to
for
be
us.
really tough. 12 pancakes. God.
You
Actually,
really only have to eat like 6.
I'm so excited. Pancakes are one of my favorite things in the entire world. Eating
Yeah.
12 pancakes sounds awesome.
So it's going to pretty much be a Memes and Max. We're going to put them in the corner and just have a pancake watcher. And Memes already told me that he's going to eat them hamburger style. So he's going to put
How do you eat a
he's going
pancake?
to put a bunch of them and just go like this. Ow. Which I think he thinks that makes it faster, but you're still eating a lot of pancakes.
I think the trick is to cut it up into as small bites as possible, and then just eat a million bites.
Yeah. So we'll have fun watching Memes try to eat them, but we're also going to watch college basketball, and I think Nova's playing, so it'll be that'll be a good stream. We also have a stream on Thursday on all of our channels at Chili's, which the schedule gods have helped us out. I'm going to have to suffer through some more Wisconsin basketball, which I am. This team's going to be in the tournament, and I even had the thought today, like, what if they just get hot from 3 because they just haven't been able to hit a 3 for the last 4 weeks, and that's a dangerous thought because I don't want to be sucked in at all. They're not good, but I will be streaming that game from a Chili's, so tune into that. We'll also be streaming from the Gambling Cave all Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but that's specifically from our stream. We also had on Saturday, we had Shane Gillis and Andrew Santino come to the office. We were able to interview each separately, so we got 2 awesome interviews coming. People are going to want them right away. Scheduling is weird because obviously we have March Madness next week, so we're going to have Rothstein, Titus, Stanford Steve. So we're going to have the Santino interview on this Friday, and then our Shane Gillis interview is going to come Monday after the first round of March Madness. Both great interviews, awesome dudes. We love both of them. So I know people are going to want them right away. If it were not for March Madness, we would put them out right away. But because we have March Madness, and listen, This actually might be the only time in the schedule and in probably Shane's life that John Rothstein will bump him.
That's true.
Yeah. But they were great.
That's,
And
no, that's a
Shane,
good point. Shane's a great dude, and
Yeah.
he watched some college basketball with us.
yeah, you can watch that clip.
If you go to the PMTV page on YouTube or Rumble or wherever you want to watch your videos, it's Max watching the Villanova game and Shane just getting to observe how we treat Max.
Yeah.
And just Max in general, Max in the wild.
You're not gonna watch? They were just down 30, dude. They came back already.
I mean, you guys are busy guys.
Be a man. Watch the show.
Busy guys.
Sit down. Jesus.
Be a man. Sit down Indian style.
Sit down. Put your hands on your hips.
Max does sit like a little baby.
I do.
It's nice.
It's
I'm
surprisingly
flexible.
flexible.
I was just gonna say, don't take any offense, but I was like, this dude cannot sit Indian style.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. I can't sit Indian style.
But he does it like on a couch, which is always weird to see.
No, that's not cool.
That's uncomfortable.
No, it's comfortable. It's good.
No, to see.
You like tapioca pudding? Do you like tapioca pudding?
I've never had tapioca.
Yeah.
Let's jump ball.
Give me that ball.
Jump ball! Yes!
Yes, let's go.
Come on!
Buddy.
You wanted to give
All right,
up?
that was.
You
I wasn't
wanted to
giving
give
up. I just wanted to
You
watch
were
back
giving
there,
up.
or I could have just watched.
You were giving up.
I wasn't giving up. I was giving up on you.
I can't believe you're quitting on the Novacast.
This is their Super Bowl.
Crane at home, the Super Bowl.
That's what the coach said before.
I know.
Brutal.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what
Kyle
he said.
Neptune said this is our
This is our
Super
Super Bowl.
You can't lose your Super Bowl.
And they will start off 32-8.
Are you guys going to storm the court?
No.
Oh. Oh.
This
No.
is not good offense.
No.
They're looking
Why are they
for.
so
No.
Foul.
That was Nate.
Oh, they got
No.
it! They gave it to him! Let's go!
He's not making free throws.
What the? No, but I'm not gonna say it.
What?
I'm not
I
gonna say
bet
it.
on them.
I'm not gonna say it.
I have them to win the national title to win $500,000.
Breaking the first.
Stop. Come on.
I'm happy that you guys got to see this.
Buckets.
Oh, wet.
Buckets, dude.
Wet.
Buckets.
Wet.
I can't do it.
Shane. But he, second one, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
Second one to this.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
Damn.
I hate the stat.
Leads the
Best free throw
NCAA.
shooting team. Oh, he's feeling it. He's feeling it. He could miss if he tried right now.
Does he miss the third one?
No.
No chance.
He wants this.
Like this is the worst. Like this.
I can't believe this worked out this way. We had to all watch the game.
I'm
with
shocked you're not
Max.
watching this by yourself somewhere.
He tries, and I pull him out.
Yeah, that's
and
mean.
Make him,
That's
yeah.
fucking mean as shit. Wax!
Let's go! Let's go!
I
Best
knew.
free throw team in the country. That's what I wanted to say before he started.
Oh, they didn't start the clock.
Uh-oh.
That's
Get,
fine.
get it to the
They
big
gave him like 2
honkies.
extra seconds on that clock.
Get it to the whites underneath.
no.
5-5.
Oh no.
God, he's waiting to take last shot. That's fucking. That's an interesting move. Interesting.
Oh no. Good D. No. Oh no. And I have no. Oh no. That's a real tragedy, Max. Oh no, Max.
Fuck.
Damn it. Fuck. Oh, damn it.
I hate you guys.
Why'd you make us watch this with you? God damn it. Oh, that's just brutal.
Well, there is 0.001 second left.
Anything could happen.
Anything,
Point
really.
01 second.
They might put 0.1 second back on. It might be 0.2.
I mean, this is. I don't know what we're doing. I just want to do the fucking show.
It's so funny. I'm the worst. If this was my team, I'd be fucking livid.
It's my life. It's like. It's literally every day.
He's not wrong.
Damn, that guy he was clutch there.
Yeah.
Fade away.
I mean,
There's nothing you can do, dude.
It's great defense.
Creighton got it to their one kind of black guy. And he fucking sunk it.
Blackest of the guys, yeah.
All right, come on, Max. It's March. Miracles happen in
this
March.
is. I don't think that this is possible to do.
Yeah, but you want to believe it is.
Why are we doing like?
I'm out.
They didn't like the look.
We gotta delay it.
Come on, dude.
I just want to. I wish.
Oh,
I don't.
Max.
I hate when you get close to me.
Come on, Max.
You gotta believe, dude.
You want to do the free throws at the bench where they
Yeah.
go like
No.
this? What if he gets fouled?
What do you think they're saying over there?
Oh, no,
Nothing.
they don't have enough fouls. Fuck. Shit.
They probably are gonna foul. They got fucking 3 fouls. We just shot our first free throws of the game.
Yeah, but it's going to be shooting.
We shot 4 free throws all game.
So if
That's
somebody's
crazy.
like jumping up trying to tip it in, that could be a shooting foul.
Yeah.
This game's not over.
Yes, it
This
is.
game is not over.
And
Not
the
by
worst
long
part
shot.
is I have +1.5. That's
not over.
real
It's-
tragedy.
Oh fuck, Big Cat. I'm sorry. That sucks. Man.
That's real tragedy here. Is I
What's
have
that?
I have +1.5 Nova. So if anyone wants to say
That sucks. I'm
apologies,
sorry.
it should be directed at me.
Yeah, that seems fair. I think that seems like a fair.
Yeah, everyone's standing. They all believe still.
Yeah.
He's up, Max.
No one
He's up.
left.
Dude, this is March.
He's up.
Think
He's
about
up,
it.
Max.
This
You
is
don't
start
put
of the
these up.
championship
Max, put these
DVD.
You put these up, they might
Put
make
your
it.
fucking D's up, Max.
Fuck that shit.
He's got a video.
Oh.
Oh!
All right.
Is it final?
All right, can we be done with this now?
Are they going to review it?
They have to.
They got to review it, Max.
I hate this. I hate this so much. How? That sucked.
And he
it
knows.
was fantastic.
He said to us that when he first moved to Austin, he would just be watching. I think he watched the you and Stephen Che stream, and he was like, just so I could feel like I had some friends. So both those guys, great dudes. They made time out of their Saturday to come in. So those interviews are coming up. I know people want us to hear them because they were great interviews and they're great dudes. So there's the schedule, so everyone knows. Great, just 2 weeks coming up. We're just going to be living in the gambling cave and just living it up and just dying with every game. So I'm very excited. Hank.
Dan.
Hollywood Hank.
Yeah.
That was the most outrageous no-sell.
I was so proud of you, though.
When he was like, I might be in it. You were in it. You were in it.
There was like a solid 3 minutes of documentary time that was about the Brady Four, and I was just grinning ear to ear. I was like, my boy, he made something of himself.
It's great because it really is. You can't tell the story of the Patriots without Henry Lockwood.
Yeah, you are an integral part of that dynasty.
You might go in the Hall of Fame.
When you were getting arrested at the NFL office, did you ever think that it was going to be this big?
No, because we didn't think we were going to have to stay overnight.
Yeah, that's what made it big.
Up until we were in the police car, and they're like, yeah, you're not getting out till the morning.
Yeah.
And I think that the overnight is kind of where it
The
went
story
super,
became real.
super,
The
super
mug
viral.
shots.
Yeah.
The shot of you guys,
Where's your mugshot at?
I have it. I don't know if we put it. It's. I'll send it. We can
I think
put it
you
up
were
on PMT.
smirking.
I was smiling.
Yeah, you were
Good.
smiling. He was a little jackass about it. It was awesome.
Good.
Well, it was good.
But
good vibes.
you were in it. I was in it. Which
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? Because they had a rundown clip of me of right before you guys went to the NFL offices and me and KFC just being like, what are these idiots about to do?
Yeah, I mean, the footage they used was literally like, I was holding the phone, which was like, holy shit, like that's me. Like
You were in it.
I mean, I'm in it, but I'm also like, they're using my footage, which
Yeah.
I kind of knew they were gonna do, but it was still very, very surreal, and I knew it was coming. I watched it on Saturday, so it was a couple days after, and a lot of people had hit me up, but it was still very, very surreal, very cool.
And the Belichick smear campaign marches on.
The also funniest light switch, like we had our own camera guy that was like free Portnoy, but it sounds like it was a fan, which always makes me laugh.
Yeah.
But I was happy they included that. That just made me laugh.
Yeah.
So you were causing good trouble. That was civil disobedience 101.
How much the 28-3 episode were you crying?
It was great. I mean, it was those two Super Bowls are the greatest two Super Bowls of all time, and it cemented Brady. It's crazy. Obviously, and it is it was tough, I'm sure, where everyone's like, it's Kraft, it's a hit piece, and then the most recent episode started with like just Robert Kraft's a great guy. They had Murdoch in there, being like he's the best
Businessman, Titan.
I told Big Cat this when he came into the office, but I'll tell you too. It's shocking to me how the episode that centered around the 28-3 game somehow came off making Bill Belichick look worse or as bad as the episode about Aaron Hernandez. Like they took a big shit on Belichick this entire time. It was like Tom against Bill, everybody in that locker room against Bill. They made him look so bad in this most recent episode that I think most people with a brain will be like, what's going on?
Yeah. It's crazy. They're just taking him down.
It's insane.
I can't wait for the Belichick documentary where he actually can speak how he wants to.
Well,
he's going to have a lot of footage.
NFL Films even.
He's going to have to get that from Kraft LLC
or from Jay Glazer.
Yeah.
NFL Films came out and even said like he's a huge NFL Films guy. Always has been. Like they've always been connected and super friendly. And NFL Films came out and made a statement. It was like, this is kind of a hit piece.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's nuts to watch it. Be like, and I'm sure the ending is not going to be great.
Can I say something?
No, they're setting up their. I mean, they obviously, but even it was very focused on Deflategate, and then they went into the Super Bowl a little bit, but they're not talking about the games all that much. And then they're just going to have probably 2 episodes on the end of Brady Belichick.
Hank, can you take your headphones off real quick? I just want to talk to Big Cat.
Yeah.
Now that his headphones are off?
Yeah.
As a member of the media, we really fucked up Deflategate. That was really not that big a deal.
It was tough.
At all.
Mort has passed away
It
a
is.
week ago, and he was,
But, like, hearing how the entire thing was framed, somehow Dave Portnoy was more correct about chemistry than every member of the media.
Your Deflategate was very different than mine because you weren't at Barstool yet. I vividly remember like trying to fight it for maybe a week or so, and then Dave just spent so much time reading documents and learning science that I just gave up.
Yeah, it's shocking.
We gave up.
It's shocking to me how right.
The Tico, Texas rundown is the one that always pops in my head, where Tico, Texas zoomed in from a target, and Dave and Tico was like, "What's up with you guys cheating?" And Dave was like, "How much time you got, Tico?" And then Kevin and I just left the rundown. He was like, "He's just going to do it again," and he's right, and there's nothing we can say about it.
All right, so I think a couple of things are probably true with the benefit of hindsight. One, Tom Brady definitely likes his football, is a little on the underinflated side.
Yep.
2, who really gives a fuck?
Correct.
We can say that, right? Like every NFL quarterback likes their balls.
That's not why he was winning Super Bowl.
That's not why he was winning Super Bowls.
Correct.
Beat the Colts by 100.
And the fact that it came at a time when the NFL was looking for any sort of distraction from like actual problems that they had.
Yeah.
Where they could be like, okay, we're going to hire this ex-FBI guy to do a full report on whether or not Tom Brady slightly deflated some footballs.
Right.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
All right, Hank, you can put your headphones back on.
Yeah, put it back on. The deflator is the one part that always is like,
Yeah.
So
well,
funny.
that does, yeah.
And didn't they say they call him that because he lost a bunch of weight?
Yeah. I think so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the deflator.
But also, I mean, and Ben Affleck, said it on the what was it, Simmons show called, whatever it was called,
Any Given Wednesday.
You would never give your phone to the NFL. They literally showed Spygate how they had to destroy tapes because everything was getting leaked.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, if they go through all of our texts and sift through it line by line, they can find something that they can take out of context and make us just look like trash.
Yeah. Facts. The deflator. All right, Hank. We're at number 8.
I think we're at number
8.
8.
So Wednesday will be the finale, which I think there's probably a lot of people who are like, finally, but that's fine.
Yeah, that's
It's fair.
Yeah, we got 2 more.
Fair criticism from the AWLs. We know this sucks.
We didn't intend to draw this out for so long.
And we didn't intend. Well, we did intend to make it suck because we wanted to basically make Hank have to do something like, here are all these awesome players who won all these Super Bowls, and then ruin it so that Hank has to do it so long that everyone's like, enough already.
Yeah.
A mission accomplished by us.
Yep.
On this side of the table.
Recurring guest.
Chris Long.
No. He was in this one.
Recurring guest.
Ninkovich.
Gronk again.
No. Only
That'd be
player
funny if you had
besides
Gronk.
Brady to win Super Bowls in both eras.
Ebna.
Oh, Vince Wilfork.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Good call.
Yep.
Great player, super athletic.
Hilarious.
Had the funniest commercials. He had a chicken commercial that I think it was. I mean, I think I watched it in like high school and college. It just made me laugh every time when he said rotisserie chicken.
No, it was ribs.
No, he did those commercials too before it was pre ribs. He had I think it was like Big Y or something, some supermarket company, and he was just talking about how great rotisserie chicken was.
Freak athlete.
Rotisserie chicken.
Freak athlete.
Freak athlete.
Yeah. Okay. Good
Recurring
one.
guest.
Also,
Honorable mention.
he was in the Bodies Up issue of ESPN, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a dude.
Just a total dude. Great dude.
Honorable mention?
Let's go Steven Gostowski.
Okay.
Okay. So would you put him above Vinatieri?
No.
But you didn't make Vinatieri an honorable mention.
He did say in that one thing, he's like, we hated the Patriots.
Yeah, that was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah. When he went into the Deflategate episode.
And there's people saying that he's going to go in the Hall of Fame as a Colt, which is insane.
Yeah, that is a little.
Do you think maybe he was the one that told the Colts, hey, if you get your hands on a football?
That is weird because if he goes in the Hall of Fame, it's because of what he did with the Patriots more than what he did with the Colts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had me second guessing some things.
You know who I had never heard like talk before, who I want to have on the show, is Matthew Slater. I feel like I'd never seen an interview from him.
Yeah.
And it was like, this guy rocks.
Yeah.
He probably knows everything because he was like the unassuming special teams guy who was just, he's the most like Patriot of all time, probably, right?
Yeah.
So he must be on your top 10.
No.
Oh.
Shit.
And he just retired?
Yeah. And he is the most, Hank agreed he's the most Patriot of all time.
He embodied the Patriot way.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I
So
made
much so that he's not even on this list.
I made this list before I watched an episode. I wish, now that I've seen some things, I could change.
Okay. So you know what? We'll restart your list.
Okay.
After Wednesday, we'll go traditional 10-1 with what you would have done.
You know what? After watching this documentary, number 1, Robert Kraft. He seemed like a great guy in the documentary.
Yeah, titan of industry.
Also, Pioli describing Brady.
Oh yeah,
was just unbelievable.
Like you got to stop. This guy's the fucking Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
Oh,
Freddy Krueger.
I'm so glad that they told the Putin stealing the Super Bowl ring story.
Yeah.
All time story.
Yeah. It's mine now.
Also, Julian Edelman. That was a nice piece of Patriots porn for you, I'd imagine, Hank, when they showed that catch. And then right afterwards, him talking to the DB, being like, no, I caught it. And the DB being like, no, you didn't. He's like, no, I caught that shit, watch. Then they watch it together on the Jumbotron. And Julian's like, see, I told you I caught it. Look at that. Didn't touch the ground. That was so good.
Also, Malcolm Mitchell, honorable mention. He was just a beast that season, and that was it.
All right, we've done enough of this. Okay. No other honorable mention? You don't get another honorable mention. Strike that from the record, please. You don't get an extra honorable mention.
Stricken from the record.
I did like the look on Chris Long's face when they won a football game, and then Belichick was chewing their ass out, and Chris is like, we're not celebrating this win.
Yeah.
I'm not having any fun. I better go to the Eagles.
Yeah.
It's selectively edited, but the way they were showing Belichick in the locker room with Jimmy G after the first game he played, when he was like, oh, coming up to him, buddy, like, great job, son. Like, that was... It made you feel like, oh, he's just a dickhead to Brady, but then you have to remember this is a puff piece and an anti-Belichick.
They're telling the story. Yeah. And Robert Kraft referring to Tom as Tommy all the time.
Tommy.
Very
Tommy's
weird.
The thing about Tommy. I just love Tommy. Okay. Numbers.
20.
40.
8.
77.
18.
3.
99 Pug.
21.
Ooh.
6.
Love you guys.
Great number.